plant in Independence, Missouri, with the Army reporting one person's been killed with 3 injured. United Airlines CEO Oscar Munoz is now apologizing for the treatment of a passenger dragged off an overbooked flight. Meantime, from Fox's Carly Shimkus.
Local news outlets now reporting that passenger has a criminal record. His name is Dr. David Dow, and he works as a pulmonologist in Kentucky. In 2003, Dow was convicted of felony drug charges for illegally prescribing and trafficking painkillers.
Not the best day for White House spokesman Sean Spicer, overlooking all the gas used to kill Jews in concentration camps during World War II. Here's Fox's John Decker.
When asked by Fox News Radio about Syria's alleged use of chemical weapons in a bombing of their own people, White House spokesman Sean Spicer argued that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad was in some way worse than Adolf Hitler.
Someone as despicable as Hitler, who didn't even sink to using chemical weapons.
Spicer later issued a statement clarifying his comments, saying, "In no way was I trying to lessen the horrendous nature of the Holocaust. I was trying to draw a distinction of the tactic of using airplanes to drop chemical weapons on population centers." Chris?
John Decker at the White House. Attorney General Jeff Sessions tells federal prosecutors be more aggressive with illegal immigration cases. Here's Fox's Grinnell Scott.
Chris, as he took a first-hand look at Arizona's stretch of the Mexico border, Attorney General Sessions pushed the Trump administration's tough stance on illegal immigration, eliminating repeated illegal entry and more power to U.S. attorneys to make charges stick.
Backlogs and catch and release policies have undermined the effectiveness of our law officers' work.
All right, Colonel, thanks. This is Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Over 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring, and independent research shows that 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. By creating the easiest, most effective hiring experience, we help businesses find great new people every day. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Today, there are over 47 million Ford vehicles on the road, rolling on over 188 million tires. That's a lot of rubber to trust to anyone other than a hardworking specialist at Ford Service. No one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $70 rebate by mail on 4 select tires, plus another $70 rebate when you use the Ford Service credit card. Subject to credit approval, rebate by prepaid debit card. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined with Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 6/30/17.
Is denied to a Canadian man accused of hacking Yahoo email accounts. A prosecutor says Karim Baratov is a serious flight risk with ties to Russian agents and access to a lot of cash. A South Carolina family is suing the federal government over a deadly plane crash.
68-year-old Michael Johnson and 30-year-old Joseph Johnson died when an F-16 fighter jet hit their small plane. This happened in Berkeley County near Charleston back in 2015. The fighter jet pilot ejected from his plane and survived. According to this lawsuit, the Federal Aviation Administration's air traffic controller didn't respond appropriately before the crash by not rushing to tell the fighter jet pilot another plane was nearby. The family has reportedly tried to negotiate, but after 6 months, attorneys say they haven't reached a deal. The feds now have until July 3rd to respond. Monica Ricks, Fox News.
A critical source of water in the American Southwest has been named the most endangered river in the country.
Environmental group American Rivers released its annual list of most endangered U.S. rivers and zeroes in on the lower Colorado, which supplies water to tens of millions of Americans in cities like Las Vegas, L.A., San Diego, and Phoenix, and grows most of the nation's winter crops.
The river is overtapped, meaning the demand for its water exceeds the supply of water in the river, and it's only getting worse.
American Rivers President Bob Irving, blaming climate change, expects the lower Colorado to decline its water flow. He also says that progress made in water conservation and water use reduction has been threatened by President Trump's fiscal year 2018 budget. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
An Ohio woman who helped move her older sister's body after their mother killed her gets probation. Hannah Tyberski's 21 years old. Her sister, Rachel, was 26. The mom was sentenced last week to a minimum 19 years in prison. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Just call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight overcast, a low of 39. Wednesday, sunny clear, high 68, a low of 49. Thursday, more thunderstorms, high 74, a low of 56. We'll see 80s this weekend. Right now, mostly cloudy. Sun's poking through, though, 56 in Champaign-Urbana.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Warner. We're going to sit down and chat with you for 2 hours and 8 minutes. Another early Cardinals game. Let's hope it's
Should
not
we even
so...
go to the Cardinals? I mean, it's not going so well for you guys.
Let's hope it's not so stinky, as I told you. That was just ugly to watch last night. That's one of those... I told a guy the other day.
And it's embarrassing because you had the national audience because of the Cubs rain delay.
Right,
ESPN
exactly.
went to the Cardinals broadcast.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, appreciate that, ESPN. I didn't know that part of it. Luckily, I had play practice down in Villa Grove,
well,
so
good for you.
I got to miss a lot of it, but I got in the truck, turned it on, and I was like, ooh.
Adam Wainwright.
Yes.
We know he's not ace Adam Wainwright anymore.
No.
Last year, he struggled to start the year.
Yes, he did.
Do we think he'll have the bounce back? Like, is he... enough of a grinder, is he turning into late years Jake Peavy?
No, I'm concerned. Yeah. That's the perfect.
Like he'll find a way to battle. He's your
finish 500.
This is the worst term you can get.
Yeah.
Is you're an aging pitcher. He's a bulldog.
I only give bulldog to those though that win on a consistent. Although Waino's won on a consistent level.
Can he be a 500 guy?
Yeah, I think he can be 500.
Bulldog.
I think Jake Peavy is maybe the best example of an Adam Wainwright. I hope he doesn't do the Peavy though and pitch for like 15 different teams. No. I think Edwin Jackson's the only guy that's pitched for more teams than Jake Peavy. But Peavy's always been that all-star edition, like all-star, all-star whatever, weekend edition. Like, all right, we need trade deadline. Let's go get Jake Peavy. He was always, didn't the White Sox have him one year?
They traded for him multiple years.
Oh, that's right. They did. Yeah, I forgot about that. Well, listen, it's hard to keep track of that guy's career, right, with the Padres and everywhere else. But yeah, Waino, I don't know. He's lost it, I think. And when you're a guy that relies so heavily on that curveball and you cannot pinpoint your fastball, you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. I mean, if guys can sit up there and just wait for the curve, knowing that your fastball is not going to get them behind an account, you're not going to throw it by him. I mean, we know that. Waino cannot get it by you. So it's just a matter of now guys are understanding that Waino cannot pinpoint his fastball, and he came into the season a little bit bulkier. He gained some weight. He lifted good weight, with lifting. But now all of a sudden it's just a deal where he's not going to throw by you, and he's not fooling anything with that curve.
Matt Carpenter's getting the day off today, so Yadi Molina is going to bat third, and then Jose Martinez will be the first baseman.
They're just trying anything right now. Already 7 games in.
He was tied to Matt Adams. They wanted him in the lineup so much they put him in left field, and now they put Jose Martinez at first?
I don't know.
You're scratching for. There's a little bit of panic. It's 1 week.
I think so.
But there's a little bit of panic.
Well, and Jose, I think, was the best hitter in the minor or in spring training.
Yeah.
And then he's come up and he's hit the ball hard when he's off the bench. So I guess Mike is thinking, listen, I've got a hot hand on the bench. Let's get him in there and let's use him.
How much heat is already on Mike Matheny?
A lot, I think. I think a lot. And I told you, now, when I say
you said
a lot,
it the other day, yeah.
When I say a lot, that doesn't mean it's coming from me or that I necessarily agree that it's warranted, but I think there's a lot. Because when he was winning, Jeremy, he was getting heat.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you've gone a year. How dare the Cardinals go a year without making the playoffs? And now you start out 2-5, and you're still staring at 2 games at Washington and 3 at New York to face the Yankees. So you could be in a deep hole when this is said and done. I told somebody today, I'm like, I'm not going to panic with the Cubs. The Cubs are going to win this division.
Yes.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to win this division, so don't panic about the Cubs. If they get off to a 10-2 start, who cares?
You're not catching them.
They're not going to catch the Cubs.
How many guys on the Cubs? And they have the walk-off hit with banner raising last night. Anthony Rizzo. I mean, it's kind of an MVP night. He was my pick to win the MVP just because I think we overlook how good he is.
No
because
doubt.
He's surrounded by so much talent. How many Cubs do you have to name before you get to the best Cardinal? Like if we put both these teams in a draft.
A lot. It's funny. I had this conversation today with a buddy.
Did you really?
I did.
Yeah, because I think that's kind of a way we've been talking about how the Cardinals have good players.
Yeah.
They've depth.
There's no superstar.
There's just, Carlos Martinez and Matt Carpenter would probably be in the top 10. Is there any other Cardinal you're putting in that top 10?
And the funny thing is, where are you putting Carp? He's not better than Bryant. He's not better than Rizzo, I don't think, right? I mean, his best seasons have produced
he might
numbers.
Be top 5. On a good day, you can put him top 5, but okay. Bryant probably first.
Yeah.
Rizzo, 1A, 1B right there, right? Are you going Lester next?
Probably.
I'd go Lester next.
I'd go Lester. I'd go probably Baez.
No, I wouldn't go him that high. Arrieta, 4th.
Well, yeah. Oh, I see what you're doing here. You're going. Okay, I'm sorry. You're ranking from 1 down. My bad. Okay. So probably then after that, let's see. You'd have to make a decision between.
I think Carpenter is probably there.
Yeah. Probably.
Because we're talking Addison Russell, who hasn't proven it completely yet. Schwarber, who hasn't proven it completely yet. Zobrist.
I think the battle's there with Schwarber. But I'd still take Carp probably over Schwarber.
And Carlos Martinez might be 6.
Yeah.
So maybe 5, 6. But then the rest of the top 10, I have Schwarber, Russell.
Yeah. Piscotty's not in there. Gritchick's not. Maybe Fowler. Fowler slips in the top 10. Yachty, maybe top 10.
Fowler might be on the fringe of that.
Yeah.
Yachty maybe.
It's amazing.
But we're talking 6 of the top 8 there would probably be Cubs.
The Cardinals just, it's one of these where last year they hit for so much power. In a year where you didn't think they were going to hit for power, and Cardinals fans, including me, panicked when they didn't sign one of these power guys like Chris Davis. You went after Alex Gordon. You went after, or I don't know if you went after him, but you had Cespedes out there. You had all these guys out there that maybe you thought, all right, the Cardinals need somebody to hit home runs. Next thing you know, Jerko goes crazy. The entire team hits, second in the league in home runs, and you still don't make the playoffs. So then this year, Mozeliak says, all right, here's what we're doing. We're scratching that idea. We're going with more speed. We're going with more defense.
Hasn't worked out quite yet.
No, and
it's early. It's a small sample size.
Very early. And I still think that top 3 in that order will produce some nightmares for pitchers with regards to Fowler and Diaz and Carp. But so far, not good. Not good. And the thing that stings is that series against the Reds. If you lose 2 or 3 against the Cubs and lose 2 or 3 against the Nationals on the road, and even 2 and 3 against the Yankees on the road, but you win 2 of 3 or sweep the Reds, I'm not in panic mode because I'm sitting there going, all right, look, that's not an easy start to a 15-game season.
There's just a lot of ifs on this roster.
There is. There's a lot of ifs, and that's. But I'm not going to panic yet. And I told Cliff and Urbana last night because he texted me and he said, hey, is it bad that I'm flipping off this game to watch? I don't remember what it was. And I'm like, no, I did like an inning ago because it's so early in the year. And it's not that I'm jumping off a bandwagon. It's just so early in the year that I'm not going to get frustrated.
I just find it interesting, that lineup today.
Yeah.
It feels like the Cardinals have some urgency. Like, wait, we're putting Martinez at first after we put Adams in left field.
And the only thing that panics me a little bit about this is there something wrong with Carp? Is there something wrong with him? Because normally he's not getting a day off.
Right.
And you wonder with, him battling this back issue and everything coming into the season, you wonder if he's not right. And when we've seen Carp not be right, it's usually because of some kind of a nagging injury. Yes. So that's the only thing that worries me a little bit today with your announcement that Jose Martinez, or whatever his name is going to start at first base and Carp is out of the lineup. Yeah. When you're struggling, that makes me concerned a little bit.
Lance Lynn against Gio Gonzalez will be off for pregame starting about 5:10 today. We'll talk a lot of Illini today. Norm Sanders, Belleville News Democrat. We'll talk about Tillman, Pickett, and Mark Smith with him. But we'll also preview the Blues playoffs. Right. He covers the St. Louis Blues. They start tomorrow night up at Minneapolis. And then on Thursday, we'll probably talk to a Blackhawks beat reporter. 4:05, Joe Henriksen, City Suburban Hoops Report, had an all-Illini question mailbag
I just read
today.
it.
Yeah, I think there's some really good stuff in there.
I did too.
And we'll talk about it with Joe starting at 4:05.
He's a guy that thinks Illinois should have kept John Gross for 1 more year. So we'll ask Joe about that.
And he knows that's kind of crazy.
Sure.
He knows it's kind of crazy.
That is not popular opinion, I'd say, around Champaign-Urbana and Illinois fans everywhere. But he's a guy that thought that would be the right strategy to use.
It's not that he thought Gross was going to get it done.
No.
He just thought it was the right strategy to use because you probably would have had Jeremiah Tillman, Javon Pickett, and maybe a Mark Smith to go with that. And today, Illinois confirmed that Tillman and Pickett have been granted their release from the National Letters of Intent. I know a lot of people were bringing up, well, don't do it. Mississippi State, I think Ben Howland had signed a kid and he wants out of his national letter of intent, and he won't let him out.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And that's bad PR for Ben Howland.
There's no doubt.
But I will give it to him. That kid signed to him.
Okay.
Right, there wasn't a coaching change.
Oh,
there.
I see what you're saying.
There was no coaching change there, so I can understand.
There's a little bit of a difference.
There's a big difference.
Yes.
It's a big difference, but there was a coaching change here. No matter what Pickett and Tillman said leading up to it, there was a coaching change.
Yes.
And I think they should be able to look elsewhere.
I agree.
If there is a coaching change, which there was at Illinois. Also, Kentucky took a commitment from a top 100 guard today.
Yes.
If I'm an Illini fan, I think that's good news.
I read that tweet that you sent out, and I immediately, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, yes. Because, I mean, hopefully Mark Smith, and we have a feeling the way that his family has conducted this entire recruitment, and I mentioned it yesterday, that I've been very impressed. I mentioned that to Derek Piper about the way that this family has gone about it. His dad played college basketball. I think his mom maybe did as well. So they are familiar with the recruiting. They're familiar with the college game, and they're taking their time, and they're not giving anybody any hope or thoughts of grandeur. They're just taking their time and seeing what it's all about. So when you get a team like Kentucky that does that, I think I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the Smith family to say, hey, that guy might be in your way.
Yeah, and Kentucky wasn't very familiar with Mark Smith. They were offering basically every two-guard who was available.
Exactly.
Because they wanted to fill that spot on their roster, have a long-term guy there. But Mark probably was going to have a hard time to play there.
Agree.
I think there's a Michigan State and Illinois battle with Mizzou and Ohio State kind of lurking.
Fair enough.
There. His signing period starts tomorrow. He can make a decision anytime around there. But I think Illinois is in this thing.
Okay.
I think Michigan State would probably be the leader going into this after they hosted him. And given all the things that they have to sell. But if Miles Bridges comes back, Mark won't play right away.
No.
I do think he'll play.
Right.
And he'll play a role on a team that likely will come in as the Big Ten favorite.
Izzo doesn't mind playing guys.
And they have the history of developing two guards, even if it took them a while, like Denzel Valentine, that he can get you to the pros, all that stuff. So maybe in the end it would be best for him as an individual to go there. But Illinois selling him as you're a guy we're building around.
No doubt.
You're our centerpiece, and maybe right away.
I am a guy that could care less if I get what I say right, could care less if I throw out hot takes. I just want to be more like than you. So what I'm going to do is spin it around and say, I think Illinois is the favorite for Mark Smith. So all the listeners will sit there and say, well, Lon
said it.
Lon thinks Illinois is the favorite.
Report.
Right.
Illinois the favorite. That's on Twitter right now.
Unhidden source that, no, I kid. I have no sources at all. Zero sources. But it is interesting. The one thing that I keep going back to, Jeremy, through all this is that Illinois has been a cluster through this entire recruitment of Mark Smith with regards to getting rid of a coach and losing this. Now you're losing players. And Mark Smith and that family still have not crossed you off the list. I feel like they've been so patient with Illinois that deep down, and this is me grabbing. I'm not kidding you. I'm grabbing for things.
For a positive. Yeah.
But to me, it's like that family really, really wants Illinois to win this thing, but it's just, I don't know if Illinois can get out of its way.
Best thing that's happened is that Indiana fired its coach.
Yes.
Kansas State's head coach is on the hot seat, right? Might not even survive the summer. Who knows, right?
No doubt.
He's probably going to get one more year, Bruce.
And none of the Blue Bloods really went after him early.
And now Michigan State comes in.
Yes.
And I think that's the big one. Kentucky fills their spot. So, yeah, you have a chance here.
You do.
You have a chance here. Now, he hasn't committed elsewhere. No. I thought Michigan State this past weekend there was a chance.
That was a little bit of a hurdle to get over.
Yep. But he didn't. And now it's still open and you're still competing for him. That's a good thing because that gives Underwood some more time to try and develop the relationship. Antigua to get involved in this thing and sell what they want to do with him. And that is be the centerpiece right away. Michigan State saying, hey, you can be part of this program. Look what it's doing and eventually be maybe an NBA player and one of the Big Ten players of the year. Illinois saying right away, you're one of our top guys.
I loved what you and Derek said yesterday about if Antigua had been on campus 10 hours, 9 of them were spent talking about how important Mark Smith would be to the staff, and that's what they told the Smith family, right?
Yeah, he said he was on the job for 10 hours, and 9 of them were Mark Smith.
Whether that's true or not, that was a good sell by Antigua. Hey, now that the national letter of intents, now that they've been released, I want to focus here on Pickett for a second. It seems like Javon Pickett is a guy that did not have any top 5 or major 5, whatever, and power 5 offers. Do you think maybe he would follow John Gross to Akron? That seems to make some sense.
He got offers today from St. Louis University.
Okay, that would make a lot of sense.
Which is a better program than Akron.
Yep.
And Western Kentucky.
Okay.
Which is probably about even with Akron. So he's gotten offers from those kind of schools. I know Nebraska sniffed around there a little bit. So he'll have some other opportunities. Some people think he can be kind of a version of Malcolm Hill eventually in his career, just not as early. I don't know if I'd go that high. I mean, most people thought Malcolm Hill was a top 100 player coming out of high school. A little bit longer, a little bit more proven at that point. But he's a good basketball player. It's just, does that one hurt as much as Jeremiah Tillman?
No.
Absolutely not.
It is funny, though, to look at his stats, and they play solid competition down there, to look at his stats and realize the guy averaged about 20-some or whatever a game. But I just thought to myself, if Gross, and this isn't a knock on anybody.
I'm sure Gross would like him because Gross going to have a lot of scholarships available at Akron. So it would not shock me if they get involved in that thing now.
It would make sense, right? It would make sense that he'd be the kind of kid that could go to the MAC and hopefully find some success. All right, again, when we come back, Norm Sanders, Belleville News Democrat. I'll ask him about those beat-up Blues and what a strange season, and yet they accumulate 97 points. This has still been a interesting and pretty solid season. Now, I'm not saying they're going to do anything in the playoffs, but I think as a Blues fan, as I look at this season in general, I sit there and think,
it's been weird.
It could have been a lot worse.
Let's get weird.
Why not?
This is the year for the Blues.
Jake Allen, just stand on your head a couple of rounds and let's see what happens. But we'll visit with Norm Sanders mainly about Jeremiah Tillman, Javon Pickett, and, of course, Mark Smith. Get his thoughts. He lives down in that area.
Watches a lot of those guys.
Hearing. Yeah, and he watches them all the time. And then, of course, Joe Hendrickson, our buddy from City Suburban Hoops Report, will join us at 4:05. We'll take your calls, of course, and texts at 217-359-2255.
You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. I tweet at J Warner Scout.
At Lon Tay, ESPN. See you.
Download the WSJK app. Watch us live on YouTube. Just search Tay and J Show. Get the podcast at ESPNCU.com or find us on iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. Our interns today, Daniel King and Harry Black.
Like King, have you seen his outfit? He has the Miami Dolphins teal.
That is total frat bro.
It's total. It's got a teal shirt.
Yeah, looks like an Ace Ventura shirt.
It does, and he's wearing it well.
Yeah,
and he needs to pop the collar. I think that would really make it an '80s feel. That would be.
Do you have board shorts on too?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Daniel King.
That's the fraternity look, I guess, of the 20. What do we call these? 20 teens?
I don't, and I'm jealous. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sitting here at 46 going, man, I wasn't in a fraternity, but I missed those
Doesn't it make them look like high school kids, though? Doesn't it make them look younger than they are?
When you get to my age, Jeremy, they all look like high school. I'm not going to lie to you.
Doesn't that look make them look younger than they are?
He does. And he's a young-looking kid anyway.
Right.
He's got my syndrome, but here's the good news, Daniel. When you're 46,
it'll work.
You'll look really good. Yeah, right. It is the Tay and J Show.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals. A nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Field & Stream invites you to join us this Saturday, April 15th, for our biggest firearm and ammunition sale of the season. At this year's Lock and Load shooting event, you'll find savings of up to $200 on top firearm brands. Be one of the first 100 adults in line and receive a free Field & Stream mystery gift card valued from $10 to $100. Live prize drawings will take place every hour from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. See store for official rules. Start a new tradition Saturday, April 15th. Field & Stream, where traditions begin.
Your business is our business. From appropriate lending strategies to retirement plans for employees, Busey will help navigate your financial challenges. With experience working with a variety of industries, Busey has innovative ideas and proactive solutions to help meet your needs and reach your goals. For a top partner for your bottom line, call 1-800-67-BUSEY or visit Busey.com. Busey, your dream, our promise. Member FDIC.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by the guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
326, I'm Jeremy Warner with your SportsCenter update, brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Save up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care through the end of the month. Just email mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Illinois has confirmed it has released Jeremiah Tillman and Javon Pickett from their national letters of intent. They are free to sign anywhere starting tomorrow, which is the start of the signing period for the spring. Tillman, a five-star East St. Louis center, is expected to have interest in Mizzou, possibly others. Pickett, a Belleville East guard, has received offers today from St. Louis University and Western Kentucky. As for Mark Smith watch, Kentucky got a commitment from four-star shooting guard Jamarl Baker today. Smith, the Illinois Mr. Basketball, received an offer from Kentucky last week, but plays the same position as Baker. Smith visited Michigan State last week, may take more visits before making a decision. Baseball, the White Sox at defending AL pennant winner Cleveland, who opened up their home schedule today. It's the bottom of the first inning, and Francisco Lindor has already gone deep off James Shields.
Oh, boy.
Cardinals are 2-5 and have the second worst run differential in baseball after last night's blowout loss in Washington. Tonight, Lance Lynn takes on the Nats' Gio Gonzalez for a 6:05 first pitch. You can hear it here loud and clear on ESPN Radio 93.5. Pregame starts at 5:10. After last night's banner-raising and walk-off win over the Dodgers, the Cubs have the day off. They get their World Series rings tomorrow night.
Nice.
Yankees once again the most valuable Major League franchise. That's according to Forbes, which values the Yankees at $3.7 billion.
Wow.
Dodgers a distant second at $2.75 billion, followed by the Red Sox, Cubs, and Giants. Cardinals come in at 7th. The White Sox, 15th. That ain't bad.
Yeah, right in the middle.
All right.
You're no Padres. Maybe you're not the Padres.
Beat the Padres on that.
Hey, I want to let you know that all afternoon today, it's $1 pizza slices at Jets Pizza. And there's two locations, the one on Springfield and Madison, also Neal and Green. All day today, Jets Pizza has $1 pizza slices. So if you're rolling around up there on Neal Street or Madison or Springfield, right around that area, run by Jets, grab you a $1 slice.
It is Tay and J Show. He's on Tay. I'm Jeremy Warner. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. We're getting into a fun time.
Yes.
Because Illinois basketball, with this roster turnover you have the NBA playoffs about to start. The NHL playoffs start this week. And then also the NFL draft.
Yes.
Within the next couple weeks.
There's a lot going on.
A lot going on.
Just had the Masters. Mm-hmm. So you've got that. We're coming off of that. Yeah, this is a fun time. And the weather's going to be 80 degrees this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, hello. Sign me up. And Jets Pizza has $1 slices. I mean, really, I think everything's working out for us now.
Can you guess the two least valuable franchises in baseball, by the way?
I want to go.
I think bad stadiums.
Ooh. Tampa?
Tampa is the lowest at $825 million. That's a quarter of what the Yankees are worth.
Wow. Is it San Diego?
Daniel got it right.
Oh,
right state. That's the right state.
Oh, is it not L.A.?
No, neither L.A.
San Francisco.
Which one's close to San Francisco?
I'm thinking Oakland.
Yes.
Yeah, good call.
Oakland, $880 million.
I haven't thought of the Oakland A's, but we do it every year. We do it every year.
Name that Oakland A.
We name that Oakland A, which I think let's see, if we've done it 4 years and there's 25 guys, I'm probably 4 for 100.
Yeah.
On
that's
that.
about right.
That's probably about right.
I mean, once they traded Josh Donaldson, it was like, what else do they have there?
I always name the closer Tyler Houston or Houston Street or
and
whatever
he's
his
not
name
there anymore.
And he's not even there anymore. I don't even know his name anymore. So that's how bad it's gotten. All right, it is time to head to the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line. We talked a lot about Illinois has granted the release of Javon Pickett and Jeremiah Tillman. And, of course, Illinois still in a fight for Mark Smith, the Edwardsville product. It is time to bring on, from the Belleville News Democrat, Norm Sanders. You can follow him on Twitter. He makes it easy, at Norm Sanders. Norm, how are you, buddy?
Everything's great.
Everything is rolling down in St. Louis.
We've been talking about this Metro East talent for a long time here, Norm, and it seems like Illinois could go over here.
Ugh.
You know, at one time, remember the class was said to include even Jordan Goodwin, or he was at least leaning that way. And if you look at just the radical change that has been since then, it's, you know, they're going to come up over. It looks like, I mean, unless something radically changes. So, and, you know, Mark Smith is still out there, but he's got some interesting offers on the hook as well. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, it's been a total reversal of fortunes, and I was really looking forward to a lot of these guys going to Illinois and getting a chance to watch them play there together.
What is the fandom like, Illinois fandom, down in your area, in that area? I assume with Malcolm Hill, of course, being here, that probably gains some fans. But are there a bunch of Illini fans down where you're at?
Oh, yeah, there always has been. And, you know, a lot of the players that we've had that have played there and had success there are a ways back, like a Tom Michael and a Richard Keene and, you know, guys that are a little bit beyond this current generation, but it's not for a lack of trying. Sometimes we just didn't have good players here, and other times our best players went somewhere else. So it's been interesting that it was the Illini was all over the recruiting with this bunch. They're still in, obviously, heavily on Belleville West sophomore E.J. Liddell. I mean, there's another one that Southwestern Conference was just loaded this year with talent, and I've never seen so many coaches in our area recruiting a specific group of players like what we saw the last year or two.
What did you think of the senior years of Jeremiah Tillman and Javon Pickett?
I thought that Jeremiah Tillman had a ton of expectations, and the bar was set pretty high, and he probably did not reach those expectations that other people had for him. I think you had to factor in that he was transferring back after a year at La Lumiere. He had some good talent around him. There's a sophomore there named Hawthorne. It's a really good player. But I don't know. He didn't probably put up numbers that people might have expected, but they kind of had a team-oriented system, and he was asked to do a lot, but they didn't have him as the only weapon on offense. They had some other decent scorers, so that could have affected his numbers somewhat. And with Pickett, he's a guy that just scores in bunches. I mean, he had several 40-point games. I saw him score 19 points in a quarter once. He's a guy that I think pretty much did what he did the year before, except a little bit better. And I thought in high school anyway, he was a little better scorer than Malcolm Hill was, but Malcolm was probably a little bit better overall player at that stage of his career coming into college. So it'll be interesting to see how he develops.
Mark Smith was Mr. Basketball, and I don't think it should have been even close, as close as it was. What have you seen out of that rise? I mean, it's an unbelievable story, but I mean, he seemed like by far maybe he might be the best prospect of all those guys in the Metro East.
I think coming into this season, if you would have asked me about our Mr. Basketball candidates, we'd have been talking about Jeremiah Tillman and Jordan Goodwin. And Mark Smith wouldn't even have been on that radar as good as he's been, but he would not have been on that radar at that time. And he blew up quicker than any senior that I've ever seen in my over 30 years at the paper, and partly because of that early baseball commitment that he had, and partly because his numbers weren't amazing the years before, even though he was a great player. But we've talked with other people, and like no one can remember anyone blowing up. I mean, it just went from 0 to 100 just like that. I mean, he had some D1 interest and some D1 offers, but when you're entertaining the likes of Illinois and Michigan State, and now Kentucky's offered, and you know, Ohio State, and I mean, he literally can go about wherever he wants at this point. And if you'd asked me that a year ago, I don't wouldn't have said he would be in this position.
Follow Norm Sanders on Twitter, @NormSanders. It's an excellent follow, especially for a lot of these kids that play down there. And we'll be watching E.J. Liddell as he comes through as well. Were you shocked? I think Jeremy and I were a little bit that Mark Smith did not go ahead and commit to Michigan State this past weekend. Did that surprise you at all?
No, and the interesting thing about his recruiting is that he's taken a very patient approach. He didn't commit early. He kind of left it open, and he really concentrated on his high school senior season. Obviously, they got to the super sectional. They didn't get to state like they wanted, but it's been interesting that how methodical he's been. His father is a high school coach at Metro East Lutheran by us, and he's also a principal down in East St. Louis at a middle school, I believe. But I think there's been a lot of good advice, I would say, to him to take these visits and to talk to the coaches. And then even when the Illini fired Coach Gross, now Brad Underwood's in there, and he's talked with him at least once, if not more. And I think, a lot was made about Michigan State, and there was a picture of Tom Izzo at the Dairy Queen in Edwardsville, and Mark visited there last weekend, so then everybody got hopped up on Michigan State. But I don't think that Illinois is out of the picture. I think there's something there that even with the loss of some of these guys, that with Brad Underwood's offense, and obviously it was one of the best offenses in the country last year to Oklahoma State, similar to an NBA system, there could be something there that's intriguing, Mark. But I think that obviously Michigan State is still big in this picture, and I think he's supposed to visit Ohio State early next week, and they've kind of hung around longer than other people thought as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all turns out here.
Norm, if you could pick only one of those guys from the Metro East, you could only land one, who would you want?
Boy, that's a tough one. They all did such different things. I mean, I don't know. Mark had just a crazy year. I mean, he really did. I mean, you look at his averaging 8 assists and almost 9, 10 rebounds a game. I mean, for this year, he was as good as we had, and he's Mr. Basketball in Illinois. And our last Mr. Basketball, I believe, was Darius Austin way back when. So, I'm sorry, Darius Miles. But it's interesting to see that his growth has been crazy. And maybe Jordan Goodwin, if he plays healthy the whole season,
right?
Maybe he does a little better, and he had a little bit more name coming into the season than Mark did. But the fact that Mark won Mr. Basketball says a lot to me, because we all know what kind of talent is up there in Chicago and every year, and he beat all those guys out. So that says a lot.
Norm Sanders also spends a lot of time at Scott Trade Center covering the St. Louis Blues. The playoffs begin tomorrow night. The Blues and Wild. Before we kind of break down that series, Norm, I told Jeremy, we mentioned it yesterday and I mentioned it again today. As a Blues fan, you look back on this season with everything that happened. Some injuries, Shattenkirk gets dealt, you fire a coach, a new coach comes in. They've been playing unbelievable under Mike Yeo. It's 97 points. That's not, or 99, excuse me. That's not exactly a terrible year by any means.
Oh, no. I mean, there were, during the dark days and towards the end of the Ken Hitchcock run, there was people that wondered if they'd even make the playoffs at all. And, what else was going to happen? Are they going to rebuild right in the middle of the season where they start dealing off some of the veterans? And, like you said, they finished the season on a 15-2-2 run in their last 19, and under Mike Yeo, 22-8-2, and it almost like it turned around. There was one little bad stretch in the early Yeo tenure, but after that, they just really turned things around, and it's a lot of it's on Jake Allen, who was just awful early. I mean, it wasn't even bad; he was awful. They even sent him home once to have like a mental break. It's like you don't see things like that very often, and they had him work with Martin Brodeur, who's the Blues assistant GM, and also probably the greatest goalie in the history of the NHL, and something clicked there. And we've watched Jake Allen just be dominant in March, 8-1-2, had the best save percentage, best goals against average in the time since Yo's been around. So the huge turnaround in goal helped. And like you mentioned, the Shattenkirk trade, a lot of people thought, oh, God, are they waving the white flag on the season here? They've actually played better without him than they did with him. And a lot of things have gotten better. So they've got a little bit of momentum here, and they're not as much pressure this time because I think people still are favoring the Wild. The Wild finished ahead of them in the standings, and had it not been for a late season slide, they could have won the Central Division instead of Chicago. So I think the Blues are in a better spot this year than they are in a lot of other years going into the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm just excited to play Minnesota because I got a great nickname for their goalie that I can't say on the air. Norm, I want to ask you in layman's terms, what is the difference between Mike Yo's system and Ken Hitchcock's? What has changed on the ice that has helped, number one, produce this unbelievable run under Yo, but what does he do different strategy-wise, philosophy-wise than Hitchcock did?
It's not a big difference, but if you watch the defense, a lot of the guys, and we asked this several times, that if you watch the defense, if you can imagine in basketball, a zone defense versus a man-to-man.
Okay.
A zone, sometimes, if everybody's where they're supposed to be, that works pretty well, but if they're not, then it gets out of whack. But if you're a man-to-man and one guy loses his guy, and then before you know it, another guy's having to run over to make up for that mistake, and that's what the Blues were doing earlier, and for whatever reason that wasn't working. But under Yo, their defense has improved, the goaltending has improved, the penalty kill has improved. They're really limiting shots. They're limiting high caliber chances. They've just really more attention to detail. And it's not that Hitchcock didn't want the same thing, and that's what he always talked about. But I think his message had just grown a little bit stale, and they were ready for a new voice. And Yo was supposed to obviously take over as coach next year anyway, so they just accelerated that process.
Sure.
And now here he is facing his old team in the playoffs, which he knows those players across the way as well as anyone. And, of course, those guys know him, too. So it's going to be just an interesting, intriguing matchup.
It will. Norm Sanders, I got one more for you. And Jeremy and I both laughed about this because Jeremy, like we always compare the Bulls and the Blues. They're just so similar if you look back on it. But Jeremy was like, why not? Why can't this be the Blues year? Just why not? Just Jake Allen stand on your head and let's get rolling. If Stasny can get back by round 2, and I don't know, I'll have you give us an update on that. Give me one reason why the Blues could make a deep push into this playoff.
Yeah, I think with Stasny, like you said, he's not even skating yet, and it looks like it's going to be a while, and that will be a factor. But in the playoffs, as we've seen, a hot goalie can take teams a long way, and good defense. Like, all the teams are trying to shut down the other team's top scorers. Everybody's top line is watched close. I mean, a lot of times the difference is power plays and penalty kill. But if you got a good goalie and he's not giving up anything, and the team believes in him and thrives on that and rides that confidence. I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, we've seen teams go to the finals. L.A. was a number 8 seed, and Jonathan Quick. I mean, it's just, and nobody went into that playoff saying, I think the Kings have a shot to win the Stanley Cup. But sure enough, they did, and then they did it again. So I think the fact that there's not as much hype around the Blues, and they don't have all these people expecting them to do as much, and they didn't win the division and had this crazy point total. They kind of came on strong, and they're peaking at the right time. And it would be nice to have a healthy Paul Stasny, as you said. But I mean, some of these young guys have really come on and played way better than a lot of people thought too.
It'll be fun, and give Vladdy a little help there so they can't just shut him down, and it could be interesting. Norm Sanders, I'll be reading your stuff. I don't think there's any doubt, and like you said, we're off tomorrow for Cardinals baseball, but Thursday we'll talk with someone regarding the Chicago Blackhawks. But there's no doubt they're the favorite, especially in the West, maybe the favorite to win it all. I really don't have a lot of faith in the Caps until they do something different to change that. But, the Blues could just be that pesky. It was funny he mentioned Jonathan Quick and L.A. because that was a team that you really, honestly, I think maybe they beat the Blues that first round. And all of a sudden you're like, man, this Quick kid will not let anything in. And that's been Jake Allen for about the last 15 games. So if he can continue to do that, Jeremy, early in a series, if a goalie can stand on his head, if you will, for 2 or 3 games, it frustrates the other team. And it gets the other team playing out of their style. They're desperate. And sometimes then the team that maybe is a little more solid, and I think the Blues are still solid with some veterans, but has the hot goaltender, I think you can do some damage. So we'll see.
This isn't the NBA.
No, right.
You have to have the best team.
There's no doubt.
Best roster.
There's no doubt.
In the NHL, Major League Baseball, and the NFL, the hot team can win.
Without a doubt. And a couple of bounces make a big difference.
And the Blues are hot. I think it's weird.
I know it is.
This entire season is not what everyone would expect, but right now the Blues actually are the second worst odds to win the Stanley Cup.
Really? Okay. That's fine.
They're tied for last with Boston and Toronto.
Okay.
Does that surprise you?
Well, no, because, you don't have Stasny, you don't have Fabry. I mean, and you've lost Shattenkirk on that defense, even though, like Norm said, every statistic has been better since Yo took over for Hitchcock, and even I think there's one stat, and its power play production is down like 1.7%.
It was just a weird setup when they brought Hitch back for 1 year for one last ride. Let's do this one more time.
It really was.
But then they hired their coach in waiting. It's just an odd situation. Whenever that happens, just move on.
Right, just move on. And for me, it's this weird thought of this. When Hitchcock was there, now this guy has won a Stanley Cup. He's third or fourth overall all time in wins in the NHL. Ken Hitchcock knows how to coach hockey.
Yeah.
But it seems like you had guys that really did not appreciate the style in which he practiced and the style in which he organized and structured game plans.
Sounds like Thibodeau with the Bulls.
Right. You really,
to continue this again.
No doubt.
We knew Thibodeau was a great coach, but the players were tired of him. The organization was tired.
Right. And you wonder with Yo coming in and just a refreshing thing. I still don't think the Blues have what it takes to get to a cup. But with a new coach who's been unbelievable and the stats are there, you never know, right? You never know if maybe there was the one thing that he saw that Hitch didn't, and maybe he's unleashed it.
By the way, how good do you think Thibodeau's Timberwolves were this year?
They were terrible, right?
Yeah, 31-49.
Oh, wow.
Fire Thibs.
Yeah, get him.
First year.
Bulls take him back. Why not? I kid. 359-2255. 217-359-2255. If you want to weigh in, don't forget 405 Joe Henriksen. He's must-listen-to radio from the City Suburban Hoops Report. He's going to join us then. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966, Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com. Hey guys, it's Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show and the 200 Level. ESPN 93.5 has teamed up with the State Farm Center and Live Nation for Tosh Point Show. Yep, Daniel Tosh live in concert Sunday, April 16th, right here in Champaign. Listen to the Tay and J Show now through the 16th for your chance to text and win at 359-2255. That's 359-2255. It's Daniel Tosh live. Get more info on the show at espncu.com.
Hi, I'm Sam Banks, inviting you to the Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club 28th Annual Steak and Burger Dinner at the Hilton Garden Inn, Thursday, April 27th. This year's keynote speaker is former Illini basketball great and current Big Ten Network basketball analyst Deion Thomas. Events like the Steak and Burger help kids have a safe place to come after school and find help with homework, participate in activities that encourage positive character and values, and spend time with a positive adult. Buy your tickets or sponsor a table. Call 355-KIDS or visit dmbgc.org.
Your business is our business. From appropriate lending strategies to retirement plans for employees, Busey will help navigate your financial challenges. With experience working with a variety of industries, Busey has innovative ideas and proactive solutions to help meet your needs and reach your goals. For a top partner for your bottom line, call 1-800-67-BUSEY or visit Busey.com. Busey, your dream, our promise. Member FDIC.
150 years full of success and defeat, research and setbacks, learning and teaching. The University of Illinois has transformed in numerous ways over the last 150 years, and we want to celebrate. Game Day Spirit Fan Stores is now offering 150th apparel in stores and online. These are available in limited quantities, so visit one of their stores today on Green Street or South Neal in Champaign, or head to GameDaySpirit.com anytime to get your polo, quarter zip, or t-shirts now. Go Illini!
Life is full of twists and turns. You can't see the unknown, but you can certainly prepare for it. Pekin Life Insurance Company offers a variety of term and whole life insurance policies that are designed to meet the needs of individuals and their families. Options include transitional life, universal life, preferred whole life, family term life, and many others. Visit PekinInsurance.com or ask your local Pekin Insurance agent about an affordable, beyond the expected life insurance policy that's right for you.
The Champaign County Republicans present Stephen Moore at the annual Lincoln Day celebration. Economist, author, and policy analyst for the Heritage Foundation and a University of Illinois grad, Stephen Moore took a leave from the Heritage Foundation to work on the Trump campaign. He'll talk about his time on that campaign trail and the historic election at the Hilton Garden Inn, Wednesday, April 19th at 6 p.m. For more details and to buy tickets, go to ChampaignCountyRepublicans.org.
Tuesdays can't get any respect. Every week it's like, I can't believe it's only Tuesday. No one ever asks, how was your Tuesday? But now there is something exciting about Tuesday. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Get an extra $10 off our lowest sale price on an AC Precision tune-up. That means you'll get a $120 tune-up for only $59 when you book online today at chiefbauer.com. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Take that Saturday.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What'll he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I just got kind of excited. By the way, all I could do last night was sit there and think about my 7 straight at this little hoop.
Yeah.
And Pat walking in. If he walks in
I told you,
today,
were you going to go to bed like hating Pat?
I was frustrated. Pat should not probably come in the studio today. I'm not happy with him because I just tried it again. I couldn't even make more than one in a row.
And you're blaming it on Pat.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio, 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Werner. And sometimes we talk about hockey.
Yeah.
Not often off the air.
Yeah, we did this time.
But Harry is like a hockey nut.
He is.
Which I didn't realize this, which is fantastic. Harry, why are you such a hockey nut?
You know, I started watching it a couple of years ago. Actually, when I started watching it, I associated it with soccer, thinking there's about 2 or 3 goals scored every game, so this isn't going to be fun to watch.
Right.
But when you're actually watching it, oh my goodness, playoff hockey
is the best.
Oh my God.
So how'd you get into it? Like, what spurred it on?
A lot of it was moving to the Midwest.
Yeah.
You know, that helps.
Blackhawks.
The Blackhawks being so good since you've been here.
That helped too. My first year really following hockey, I was watching them, and they won the Cup against the Bruins. And since then, I've been watching the Flyers more, which was probably a mistake.
Yeah, right.
My goodness.
Well, he's from Philly, right? Or no, you're just a big Philly guy.
No, from Philly.
From Philly, and then you moved to Florida. Okay, biggest sport. Now, I know the Cubs are there. We know the Cubs are there. On campus, among students, Bulls, Blackhawks, or Bears? What's the bigger deal?
It's definitely not Bears.
Which, when I was in college, when they went to the Super Bowl, was the biggest thing.
It was the biggest thing. Yeah. And now it's probably Blackhawks.
It's probably Blackhawks. You see a lot of people, say it's a Friday night or maybe just any night where the Blackhawks are playing, you'll see a bunch of people walking around with Tays or a lot of girls wearing Sharp jerseys because he was the attractive one. Even now, even though he hasn't been on the team for a couple of years.
So handsome.
He is.
All right, I got
stupid good athletes
hockey
that
nuts,
are handsome.
I got a list.
You got a list.
I actually got 2 lists.
What?
Yeah.
He's got a list. Jeremy has got a list. He's got a list. Jeremy has got a list. 'Cause we love to go through lists just to mess with the law.
And Harry, I got nothing for you.
All right.
Chicken noodle
Top
soup
10.
and vegetable soup. Give me some saltine crackers and I'll take either one. That was bad.
Right.
Better than I haven't done in a while.
Kind of warm for soup, but all right.
Right.
All right, top 10 NHL goalie wins in the playoffs. So playoff wins leaders all time for NHL goalies.
I want to go. Grant Fuhr has got to be up there.
Grant Fuhr, number 3. Harry?
Okay.
Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh, number 1 with
151
wins. Fuhr with 92.
I'm gonna give the old school one to Harry because he came up with it. So I'll go Brodeur.
Brodeur, 113 wins, number 2 all time.
Okay. Dominic Hasek.
Hasek, number 11.
Wow.
Number
You would
11
think
with
with that-
65 wins.
You would think with that run in the 90s.
No, right.
Yeah.
Right. Boy.
Another 90s guy, number 4.
Another 90s guy.
I think I know who it is.
Okay, go if you got it.
Let's just go for it.
God, I can't remember.
I'll go Kenny Dryden while he's thinking about
Kenny
that.
Dryden, number 6.
Okay, that was
80
Harry.
wins.
That was credit to Harry on that one.
I'm thinking the guy with the Rangers, but I can't remember his name. But you know who I'm going to go. What about Chris Osgood?
Chris Osgood, number 8, 74 wins.
Great call there. Yeah. Because you think Detroit. I'm thinking back to the teams that was that your guy? No, that's not your guy. That's
number
not your
4
90s guy.
played for a local team for a little bit.
For the
You know, Hasek actually played with the Blackhawks, and then they got rid of him, and then he went to Buffalo.
Yeah, then he played with the Blues.
This guy did play with the Blackhawks.
He played with the Blackhawks.
Really good Blackhawks.
And I'm trying to think who it would be.
Number 4 all time, playoff wins.
This is horrible.
This isn't the 90s, though, is it?
Yeah, this is the 90s guy. I can't think of it. I can't
Ed Belfour.
Oh!
Ed Belfour, number 4.
I have not sat here and thought of goalies in hockey in so long. This is hard.
I'm going to go...
Who was the Ranger? Mike Richter.
Richter
is not in the top 10.
Okay. Who was Philly's goalie?
By the way, active guys, Lundqvist, number 15, Marc-Andre Fleury, number 17, Corey Crawford, 20, Jonathan Quick, 22.
I'm trying to think of...
I'm surprised Curtis Joseph is 12th.
That's another guy. I was about ready to say Cujo, because I'm trying to think of the Blues goalies in the past. They've had all the best ones.
Here's the rest of them. Billy Smith, 88 wins.
Okay.
Mike Vernon, 77. We said Osgood. Jacques Plante.
Oh, I was going to say Plante.
71. And Andy Moog had 68. That's your top 10.
Where's Tony Esposito?
23.
Wow.
45 wins.
All right.
I got one more quick list.
Got another list.
Top 10 NHL playoff goals of all time.
Goals?
Goals scored?
Goals, yes.
Okay, well,
Gretzky.
One's Gretzky.
Gretzky with 100 and... Or no, wait. Let's see here. 122. Okay.
Wow.
He's
Sid,
number 1.
Is Sid on that list?
Crosby is not.
He's not
that high on this list.
Messier,
number 2 at 109 goals.
Man.
Teammates 1 and 2.
How about just because of longevity, Jaromir Jagr?
Number 11 on the list.
Wow.
He has been in the league
Jeremy
for
Jaguar.
500 years, and he's not on the top.
My goodness.
Jeremy Jaguar, 78 goals.
Jeremy.
How about Theo Fleury? Theo Fleury.
Theo Fleury, not in the top 10. Mario Lemieux's not even in the top 10.
Lemieux's not? Who are we missing here?
Gordie Howe?
Chris Chelios?
Henri Richard?
Jeremy Roenick?
Yari Curry, 3rd.
That's another Oiler.
106. There's 3 Oilers.
Holy cow.
Brett Hull, 4th.
Oh,
Brett Hull.
Hello. How do I forget him?
Glenn Anderson, 5th.
Yep,
Mike Bossy, 6th.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Joe Sakic, number 7.
He was so good.
Maurice Rocket Richard, number 8.
I said Henri Richard.
Yeah.
Number 9, Claude Lemieux. Number 10, Jean Beliveau.
That's a little hockey for you. We didn't do well.
Names.
I know we didn't do well, Harry. Not as well as I thought we were going to do.
We did okay.
We did okay
on the goalies.
Yeah,
not as great.
Not as great as we thought. Good stuff, Harry. Thank you. Good list. That was fun, man. All right,
a little hockey for you.
We did, and I appreciate that. When we come back, Joe Henriksen, City Suburban Hoops Report. We'll get back to talking Illinois basketball. That's what everybody wants to hear. We'll do it next. It's the Tay and J Show. Jacques Plante. I was going to go with him.
Daniel Tosh is going back to school. Tosh Point Show on campus.
Well, hello there, young people. You are our future. But more importantly, you are my future. So buy tickets to the Tosh Point Show on campus. You've already wasted your parents' money on tuition. What's a few more bucks for tickets? I promise it will be worth it. Maybe.
This Sunday at State Farm Center in Champaign. Tickets are on sale now at statefarmcenter.com or the venue box office.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days. Mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Brian Malik from the Champaign County Sheriff's Department. How have you handled the lack of respect that I believe law enforcement has gotten, particularly over the last several years? It really fired me up. I mean, I think it's ridiculous, the mischaracterizations, but how is a law official, a sheriff's deputy, how do you deal with it?
It can be frustrating, but you also understand that, unfortunately, in any profession, the people are going to pick at what they believe is a quote-unquote bad apple. And they're in every profession, but you show up and do your job, and if people don't respect you or don't like what you do, then you just have to deal with it. It's part of the job, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's unfair.
Yeah.
And that's why, a guy like me can get up here and rant all I want. You guys have to kind of, keep moving.
Yeah, we got to keep on moving, keep doing the job on a daily basis, and if they don't like us, then, well, unfortunately, not everybody's going to like what we do, and Not everybody likes what you do, so
That's
it's
true.
It's just the way it is.
Brought to you by SK Exteriors. Their website, callsktoday.com. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Defense Secretary James Mattis says we can't be getting involved in Syria's civil war, even after missile strikes targeting the Syrian military's ability to use chemical weapons. More from Fox's Jared Halpern live in D.C.
The Secretary of Defense Mattis says there is no doubt the Syrian government is responsible for last week's chemical weapons attack leading to a U.S. missile strike on a Syrian airfield.
It was very clear that the Assad regime planned it, orchestrated it, and executed it. And beyond that, we can't say right now.
Mattis's intelligence hasn't determined if Russia had advanced knowledge of the chemical attack. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is in Moscow for meetings with his Russian counterpart. Mattis told reporters rising tensions between the U.S. and Russia over Syria will not spiral out of control. Chris.
Jared, the United Airlines CEO Oscar Munoz had been defending his employees' actions. Well, now he's apologizing for the treatment of a passenger physically dragged off an overbooked flight, saying in a statement, no one should ever be mistreated this way. Explosions near a German soccer team's bus. No word yet who's responsible or a possible motive. What we do know now from Fox's Chris Honig.
Chris, 3 explosions went off in the area of the bus carrying Germany's Borussia Dortmund to their home Champions League quarterfinal. Police saying early indications are serious explosives were used in the attack. 26-year-old defender Mark Bartra was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries to his hand and arm. Police initially asked fans to remain in the stadium even though the game was postponed, tweeting that the building was secure and fans were safe there. Inside, Monaco's visiting fans broke out in a Dortmund chant in support. Chris
Honig, thanks. On Wall Street today, the Dow down 6 points, the S&P down 3, the NASDAQ down 14, and you're on the Fox Report. Fair and balanced.
5 times more hires are made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research. Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a Sunday with 5 times more touchdowns. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
The people who design, engineer, and build Ford vehicles never rest, and neither do the specialists who service them. No one keeps those cars and trucks running or stopping better than them. After all, no one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $25 rebate by mail on any Motorcraft brake service, plus another $25 when you use the Ford Service credit card. Subject to credit approval, taxes extra, rebate by prepaid debit card. Pads or shoes on most vehicles, 1-axle exclusions apply. See your participating Ford dealer for rebate details through 6/30/17.
The elementary school teacher killed by her husband in a murder-suicide in San Bernardino, California yesterday, Karen Smith, had left Cedric Anderson just a month and a half after their wedding in January.
Those closest to her said that she had mentioned that his behavior was odd and that she was concerned about his behavior and that he had made some threats towards her.
Police Chief Jared Bergwan, 2 little boys in the classroom were shot. 1 died. The other, we're told, is doing better. There's a candlelight vigil tonight. North Korean state media is warning of a nuclear attack on the United States. At any sign of aggression, President Trump writes on Twitter, North Korea is looking for trouble.
4,000 U.S. and South Korean troops, plus a whole bunch of ships and trucks, staging a mock landing of a lot of cargo at a South Korean coastal town. Logistical backup, we are told, crucial in any kind of offensive activity with North Korea. These exercises drive Pyongyang up the wall. They called them a rehearsal for war.
Fox's Greg Palcott in Seoul, South Korea. An explosion at a military ammunition plant in Missouri has killed 1 person with 3 others reported hurt.
The blast apparently happened in a mixing building at the Lake City Army ammunition plant in Independence, about 10 miles east of Kansas City. There were no details given on what caused the blast, the identity of the person killed, and the condition of those who were hurt. Shortly after the explosion, employees of the plant were sent home as a precaution. The decades-old facility sits on 4,000 acres with hundreds of buildings. The facility also runs the test center for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. Federal ATF agents are at the scene. They say the area is secure and an investigation has begun. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Jury selection in Bill Cosby's sex assault case is set to get underway May 22nd in Philadelphia. The trial is actually across the state in the Philadelphia suburbs. Those people will be sequestered for what could be a 2-week trial. In New York, I'm Chris Foster, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts. To keep you comfortable all year long, call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 40. Tomorrow, warmer, mostly sunny, high 68, a low of 48. Thursday could get some thunderstorms into the evening hours, high of 74 during the day, a low of 56, could see 80 this weekend. Right now, cloudy, 57 in Champaign-Urbana.
That sounds so good, 80. Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5, Lonte, Jeremy Werner. Good stuff last hour with Norm Sanders, Belleville News Democrat. Talked a little St. Louis Blues. They get going in the playoffs tomorrow night. Blackhawks starts Thursday, And, of course, we talked about Jeremiah Tillman, Javon Pickett, both released today from their national letter of intents, and also Mark Smith, still out there, a guy that maybe you and I had some fear that this past weekend he may go ahead and say yes to Michigan State, but he did not.
A lot of interesting things going on with Illinois basketball as they're searching for their third assistant still. A lot of turnover on the roster as well. But let's talk about it all. Joe Hendrickson, City Suburban Hoops Report, had a great mailbag today, and he's joining us now on the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line. Oh, no.
Yeah, had to do it.
You wanted to play it.
Hey, Joe, Hoops guy from Chicago. Let's get to Hey, Joe, so we'll know where recruits go.
Everybody singing now.
The more I hear, the less I know. The more I need to talk to Joe. Hey, Joe.
I always go too quick there. Yeah, I know he loves it. Joe Hendrickson, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. You guys, you've been busy, huh?
Oh, it sounds like you have too. Sounds like you've been
just a little bit,
inundated
Joe.
with Illinois fans on that Joe Hendrickson site. My goodness,
yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, I said that in the opening of the mailbag that I wrote, and I mean it shows you the interest, the passion.
Yeah.
I got a couple of comments from other fan bases. Hey, why don't you do this for us? And I don't get questions on from those fan bases. So that's the credit to Illinois fans that they do care and they're that passionate about it.
They truly are.
Yeah, we talk so much with you, Joe, about Chicago recruiting. Obviously, you're around that. You see it all the time.
Sure.
But there's been an unbelievable rebirth of talent in that Metro East area, and this class especially in 2017 with 4 guys who could go Power 5. We'll see where Pickett goes now, but Illinois could go over. I mean, that's a bad look, and I don't know if it's completely it's not completely Brad Underwood's fault, of course, but that'd just be a hard blow for Illinois, the program, to miss on that crop of talent.
Right, just because it hasn't happened before. I mean, even back in the late '80s when you had LaFonso Ellis and Conzo Martin and those guys, all of those guys weren't even in the same class. So it's never. I can't recall ever having this high-profile guys in that Metro East area. And unfortunately for Illinois, the timing. It's funny. You look back 18 months ago. And you think the timing's really good. All right, we need players. We got a big class coming up, and there's talent outside that quote-unquote dreaded Chicago. And then all of a sudden, now the timing's awful. And that's played a big part in why they're, 0 for 3, and we'll see what happens with the fourth one, which is Mark Smith, which is huge. And as I mentioned and I wrote about, I tried to do some homework on this. You try to dig into it. And it's hard to get anywhere with that one because of just how wide open I think it is and how late it's. I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 schools still, and we're at April 11th. So it's just a different dynamic with his recruitment. One, he blew up, so late that that was abnormal. And then you've had coaching changes with schools that have recruited him as well as have jumped in, like a Missouri. But which I don't think they're too deep in there anyway. But I just Illinois and Michigan State, Kentucky obviously have been the mentioned ones, but I wouldn't count out Butler and Ohio State either.
It is interesting, and we've talked all about Mark Smith and the fact. The one thing I keep saying, Joe, is that you got to give this family credit. Through all this stuff that's happened with Illinois, they've been patient with the Illini. And I guess if there's one positive for me going throughout, and I always try to find a positive, it's that. It's almost as though, look, Illinois, we're giving you every chance in the world to win this thing.
That is a great point, Lon. That's exactly how I felt from the beginning when you really start talking with the kid and the people around them, and that Illinois was going to be the place. I really, really believe that. And again, I go back to that word timing and the firing of John Gross and his staff, and left the door open, and it didn't, and to show the admiration or the appreciation, I guess, that they have for Illinois. They're still involved and they're right there, and that says a lot about their affinity towards the program at Illinois.
He's Joe Henderson, City Suburban Hoops Report. Read his stuff. He tweets it out at Joe Hoops Report.
Nice.
Underwood, you had an interesting part in this. Underwood hasn't reached out to the Chicago Public League coaches during his first 3 weeks on the job. I know he's very busy during those weeks, but how problematic is that? And is that only an Illinois thing that they have to reach out that quickly? Because, Illinois-Chicago dynamic question. We know is really heated a lot of times, but it feels like there's a lot of expectations for Illinois that maybe other programs aren't. But what do you think of the dynamic there?
Well, I obviously struck a chord with that. I was answering a question that a fan wanted, and I answered truthfully, and I just kind of been bombarded in different ways, and I read things and online, whatever. And it is a topic that I think we could rewind 5 years ago and
it's exhausting,
and discuss
Joe.
It's gone overboard, and I did respond to that question specifically because it was specifically asked, and I had been talking to those coaches in the Chicago area, and it just so happened I double-checked to make sure, and because I was trying to answer that question, and no, none of them had heard. Now, I have heard in the last 12 to 24 hours of a surplus of coaches being called from Champaign. It's kind of funny, but but first of all, when referencing the public league and its coaches, guys, it's often far-reaching. It's beyond just their individual high school programs. These are coaches. There are coaches in the city that are affiliated with AAU programs who attract and have players from the suburbs. I mean, Nick Irvin's with Mac Irvin Fire, obviously. Tyrone Slaughter of Whitney Young is with Mean Streets. Mike Oliver of Curie is with Team Rose. So we're not even discussing specifically their programs. This isn't difficult to understand if you're a part of it every day. When this topic comes up, I think fans on the outside kind of make light of it and even snicker at times. We're not going to cater to the Chicago public schools and the coaches, and they make it so black and white. But this is a tight-knit basketball circle and community that is, yes, they're territorial, but it's just common sense, at least to me, that this is an area that you want to have unparalleled relationships with. And, the timing of that is, I do find it odd. That these guys haven't, I'm not talking go and sit in their gyms for an hour. I'm just, hey, we know how important you are to this state and this program, and we want you to know that. That part is a little bit, and nothing they can't overcome.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just, I'm not saying that all you do is focus on Chicago. You can't do that anymore. The landscape has certainly changed from the 1980s when Illinois owned the city for the most part. Most notably, I think that proliferation of television. Basketball programs being seen across the country, and
Good
the
call.
idea family can watch them play on TV no matter what part of the country they're playing in. That's altered the built-in recruiting advantages that Illinois and DePaul had back in the 70s and 80s. But nonetheless, I just think I don't believe Illinois has done a good enough job over, I get this, well, what has Chicago done for Illinois, over the last, I don't know how many years. I just don't think they've done a good enough job over the past decade with Chicago. And I think the relationships have slipped. they should have an advantage over other programs because of the proximity, because of the history, because it's Illinois. Maybe not as big of an advantage as, say, 25, 30 years ago, but it should be still be an advantage. An assistant coach on the Illinois staff from Chicago is great. I mean, it's great to have. I think it speeds up the process for any head coach, but the head coach has to be a willing participant, man. I mean, they can't be a bystander. You can't hear city coaches ask Paris Parham, hey, how come you're always alone? How come you never bring your boss with you? Which is what I heard from city coaches. I heard all the time. It's not one guy. It can't be one guy. The head coach has to be a part of that. And I just, I don't think it has to be a Chicago guy. If there isn't a legitimate Chicago guy to put on your staff, you don't just do it to do it.
Yeah.
Paris Parham was terrific in what he did and being that Chicago guy. And if he was somewhere else right now, rather than having been a part of the staff that was just fired, I think he'd be ideal. But Underwood's not going to have two coaches from a fired staff, on his staff. So it's going to be interesting to see. I firmly believe there's going to be a coach in place the next 24 to 48 hours as that third assistant. I think it's all done and wrapped up. And, just based on my relationships and connections that I have of these conversations with people, they put their confidence in me and kind of hashing over things and talking about it. But I think it's all set and ready to go.
He's Joe Hendrickson, City Suburban Hoops Report. Chicago's not as strong with talent the next couple of years, and including this year, Joe. What do you think that means for Brad Underwood and whoever the rest of his staff is?
I think it takes a little pressure off them for sure. I mean, other than Io DeSumo and Talon Horton-Tucker, I don't think there's going to be a high major guy in the class. Those are two guys. Now, those are, I don't know if Brad Underwood wants those guys. I don't know if those are going to be priorities. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I just, but the problem is the following class isn't all that great either. So it is it's a good thing that, okay, we don't have to rely on Chicago. But it's also a bad thing in my view because depending on what happens here the rest of the way this spring, maybe now you're going to end up having 4 scholarships in the class. I don't know, because they didn't think they would, and it was a good thing. And I just think this staff is going to have to, and Orlando Antigua will probably be a big help in doing this. They're going to have to go out of state. I mean, they're just going to have to. And, that's not that they're ignoring Chicago, which I hope the Chicago coaches don't take it that way, because they're just not talent there right now.
Sure.
It's a cycle that I've never seen before in 20-plus years of doing this, and it's unfortunate for Illinois basketball. And I'm not just talking. If you go back, there's not a whole lot of guys Illinois didn't get in the last few years from the public league specifically that they really, really, really craved and needed and wanted. I mean, yes, Cliff Alexander, but that's a different type of recruitment. They went all in right away on Kendrick Nunn, who was a top 100 recruit, and they got him.
Yep.
They went all in on DJ Williams, and his star faded after they got the commitment from him. But when they got a commitment from him, everybody wanted him at Illinois, and he was a top 60, 50 player at that time, and they got him. So, I mean, they've done a decent job, but the numbers haven't been there. That's just fact,
You mentioned the recruiting Chicago, and we'll see if Brad Underwood does hire a guy that has ties there. How does Antigua? How are his ties in Chicago? I know he's been able to reel in some of the big guys for Kentucky.
Well, I just think, he's such a different type of animal in the recruiting trail because of the types of guys he was targeting. A guy like that isn't going to necessarily. He's got a few ties in Chicago. I've talked to some guys. They know him. They know of him, but there's not these long-lasting relationships. But nor should they be because he, it doesn't take a basketball expert to know that the guys he's targeting when he's at Kentucky are
sure.
You zero in on 12 to 15 guys, and that's really all you're focused on because you're getting 3 or 4 of them, and those are all high-profile, top 25 talents. So, no, you don't have that advantage of building a network and relationships in one place. So, but, he's I don't know this staff, guys. I know Jamal, but I don't know Antigua. I don't know Underwood. So, the third guy, I think, will play a part in that too, but Chicago. But I it's just going to be interesting from a fan standpoint and somebody who observes basketball like you guys and myself of how this plays out over the next, until signing day and their focus of what I just really think they're branching out. And that's a good thing. I mean, they should. But I just know at the end of the day, you're going to have to go back to Chicago at some point. So I hope, in my mailbag, I wrote about how, and maybe you guys have heard this too on your radio show or other people that say, you know what, just screw Chicago. Let's just forget about them. And believe me, the Chicago people hear it too. They're like, there's people that think they don't need us, and whether you think that's right or wrong, them getting upset about it, it's their decision to feel that way, and I just don't think you can do that at the University of Illinois.
Joe, last one for you. Jeremiah Tillman heading elsewhere, Javon Pickett heading elsewhere. What do you think Illinois is losing by not keeping them? How good do you think they'll be at the next level?
I think I don't have Javon Pickett as a no-brainer high major. I kind of always had him as a mid to mid-plus guy, which doesn't take anything away from the fact that they landed him at Illinois, because you can't have, every program doesn't have 13 across-the-board legitimate high majors unless you're at Kentucky, Carolina, those kind of places. So taking a mid to mid-major plus guy, a guy who I think is ideal in the A-10, that type of level, that's kind of where I kind of see Javon Pickett. But in this late in the game, the calls I've taken, he's going to have a lot of options. And I think he's a guy, and I think we've talked about it before. I think you guys have talked about it. Down the road, I like him. He's not going to be an impact guy at Illinois, or if he were at Illinois, it'd be down the road as a junior, senior. I think he'd be a really solid player. Tillman is just a crusher because of the position, because of the perception, and all the work that went into it. I know the staff didn't, other than Jamal. You got to feel for Jamal Walker, because this is a guy that's gone after for 4 years now with this kid, and it is just a huge, huge punch in the stomach. But from the perception, and it just sets them back because of the lack of inside strength that the roster has. Sure. And it's just bad all the way around. Now, I do not, and I've said this repeatedly, I always felt like Jeremiah Tillman wasn't quite what everybody expected him to be as a freshman at Illinois. I thought his impact would be somewhat mild as opposed to a star, jumping in and turning. He's not a program-changing guy immediately. Now, that sophomore year, because I think a great staff who's big into development is going to make this kid terrific, 6 to 12 months having their hands on him. But he's got a lot of work to do, and, it's just, any way you look at it, it's a huge, huge loss.
Joe Henriksen, he's the goods. City Suburban Hoops Report. Follow Joe on Twitter at Joe Hoops Report. Joe, we always appreciate.
I feel like we're ending on such a negative note.
Hey, Trent Frazier's here. DeMonte Williams is here. Maybe Mark Smith's coming. What the heck, right? I'm going to stay positive.
Hey, there's a lot of scholarships to work with a roster that wasn't that good anyway, Joe.
No.
So
and the bottom line is, guys, above all the things that has been talked about, I am convinced 100% that they have a terrific coach in place, and that's that's what's the most important thing. I just think now it's going to be later than sooner, unfortunately, because of the things that have gone down here.
And Joe, this is a complicated job,
right?
It's that's why the last couple guys haven't worked out that much, and the last guy who did work out was one of the best coaches in the country,
exactly.
Right? So it's very difficult.
You're exactly right. It's a complicated job that you could break down forever. That I don't think, and I'm not meaning this in any negative way towards Illinois fans, but I just don't think they get the full dynamic of how complicated a job it is. But a great coach overcomes all that.
Sure.
And there's no reason why you can't win big at Illinois. It's just, I guess, like you said, a little more complicated than you would expect it to be.
It'd feel good to start winning big again at Illinois. I know that'd be I know, but it'd be a lot more fun. Joe, always fun, buddy. Thank you so much for your time, my friend.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Joe Henriksen, City Suburban Hoops Report. Again, follow him on Twitter at Joe Hoops Report.
And that's what Jeremiah Tillman, Trent Frazier, DeMonte Williams, Javon Pickett, with that class in place, this wasn't a huge rebuild.
Right.
Especially with Tillman at the position of need.
Correct.
Right? Trent Frazier and Tijon Lucas for the next 3 years give you a great situation at point guard.
Amen.
I love your fours for the next 2 years and Finke and Laurent Black.
No doubt.
Right now, those guys got to play the 5.
Yep.
I mean, especially Finke's got to play the 5. And you think about who he's going to go up against in the Big Ten.
I know, and that hurts your team and it hurts him.
Isaac Haas, Reggie Lynch, Jaren Jackson, like all these guys that he's going to go, like he's a 4.
Yeah.
So you need to go recruit some 5s right now. Some of your wing players are intriguing. Kipper, DeMonte, DJ Williams, if you want to throw them in there. But you need a go-to scorer.
There's so many questions.
Right. So this team next year, right now, looks like it's going to be one of the worst in the Big Ten. And I don't know if that would have changed a lot with Jeremiah Tillman, but that would have filled a huge hole on your roster. If you had Smith, you're going to be a little bit better long-term. If you had some other kids that you're going after right now, some transfers, maybe you can patch some holes that way. But this is now looking like it's going to be more of a true rebuild. But there are pieces here.
Yes.
The long term, like Weber left some nice seniors.
Sure.
Brandon Paul was a Big Ten star. DJ Richardson was a very good Big Ten player. But those guys were gone after 1 year, and then the roster was really crap after that.
It was.
Now, this, at least, Gross left some pieces for you long term, but there's not a lot of high-end pieces. And in this freshman class, you got Frazier and Williams, but it's not Tillman and Mark Smith and Jordan Goodwin.
And all of a sudden, you become a heavily involved guard offense. I mean, this is going to be a guard.
You're a small team.
You're a small team, right. And we understand that Brad Underwood won with a small team at Stephen F. Austin, but
that's not Big Ten.
That doesn't guarantee you correct. And it's not the Big Ten. And that's a whole different ballgame.
And you don't have Juwan Evans.
Correct.
Right.
That is correct. I mean, those things.
He did turn Jeffrey Carroll into an NBA draft prospect. I'm interested to see what he can do with the players. And I'm still buying the heck out of Brad Underwood. He's a hell of a coach.
I am too.
And that's the most important thing. We're talking all about recruiting now, and that's fine, but you got a heck of a coach.
You do.
Who knows how to get the most out of his players. He just needs more players.
No. And it's not ideal, as we use that phrase, but there are, like you said the other day, there are like 400 transfers. So, I mean, there's got to be a couple out of that would come in and fit a role for Illinois.
You want to play? You want some touches?
Yep, exactly.
Big men? You want to play right away? We don't got any centers.
And you can't always count on those. We know that. Illinois, you've run the gamut on those guys.
But just to fill a short-term need and give you a year to recruit something else. But I think next year's going to be tough.
Okay.
So any Illini fans who thought there's going to be a quick turnaround, I think, again, you got to pump the brakes. And maybe you're thinking 2018-19 with Tillman, Mark Smith. Well, if you don't get those guys, 2018-19 is probably just a step up. It's not contending for a Big Ten championship.
And I think now is kind of a big time to announce the major announcement that I am going to be stepping away from the mic until 2 years from now. When Illinois football and basketball are better, I'm going to take a sabbatical. I'm going to head somewhere just for a year and a half and just kind of chill. Maybe a beach. And then I'll come back. I'm definitely jumping off the ship and then back on as soon as it starts to get better.
Hey, 2019 and 2020 could be some fun years.
Man, finally. What would that be? Our 7th and 8th?
I'll be like a long rebuilding process, Lon.
We'll be like the veteran that just stuck it out and finally his team is going to win a World Series. That'll be us.
Here's the thing. You think you have 2 proven head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 2 proven guys who know what they're doing.
Yes.
X's and O's wise. Now, Lovie Smith hasn't proven he knows how to build a program.
Right.
And even Brad Underwood. I mean, Stephen F. Austin, he showed he could coach. He was there 3 years. Oklahoma State only there 1 year. So there's some questions about both those guys. But both of them are really respected coaches.
Huge. And I think that makes a big difference. All right, 359-2255. If you want to weigh in, we'll get to your calls when we come back. We're heavy for a break. We've got an update coming up. Good stuff. We're off today at 5:08. Cardinals and Nationals. Lance Lynn back on the hill for St. Louis. They need a win. Oh, please. It is the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point. The NBA season is meaningless. Worthless, pointless, nothing. We've sat through 80 games of this pretending like it mattered, and now there's one game to play, what is supposed to be everything at stake, and nobody is playing. Someone do something and hurry. When the playoffs start, you figure every team has some chance to win. A reasonable chance to win. At least some chance to win. In basketball, what percentage of the teams, do we basically know the 16 teams that are going to make the playoffs? We basically know them, right? How many of them can we just cross off the list right now? Chicago, Indiana, Milwaukee, Atlanta. Zero chance.
Done.
Zero chance. Portland, Memphis, OKC. Zero chance. That's 7 out of 16 teams.
And you could probably add Utah now.
You could probably add several others too, but I mean, I'm just giving you the overwhelmingly obvious ones. You could cut the playoffs in half like that and lose nothing.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio. As an entrepreneur, you're always on the go. So turn your mobile phone into a business phone system with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. Make and receive business calls using our iPhone and Android apps. Get a new business number or keep your current one. Forward your calls to any phone and even get your voicemails transcribed. Join over 250,000 small businesses who stay connected with Grasshopper. See how it works at grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system.
O'Reilly. Save on your next oil change when you purchase 5 quarts of Valvoline conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter for $23.99. Or for higher mileage vehicles, upgrade to Valvoline Max Life High Mileage and a MicroGuard filter for $24.99. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your Trane Comfort Specialist. Right now is a great time to buy a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. For a limited time only, we're offering 0% interest for 6 years. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 6 years on any qualifying Trane system. Or, here's another way you can save on a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. Trade in your old system. For a limited time, you can get a $1,000 trade-in allowance on any qualifying Trane system. So pick your best deal. No interest for 6 years or a $1,000 trade-in allowance and start saving. Call 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. Remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands for program details. Call 888-653-0051 for details about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99 for newly opened accounts. APR may vary, subject to credit approval.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Are you sure you're on track to reach your retirement goals? Wondering how much money you'll need to last your lifetime? Whether you are retiring in a few weeks or a few years, we can analyze your needs and create a plan that's right for you. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111. Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call Matex Heating and Cooling to take advantage of Train's Weather Any Season sale. Choose between special financing for 6 years or special trade-in allowances on qualifying Train systems. Call 355-9700 or visit us online at mattexservice.com for more information. It's hard to stop a train. Any season, any weather. Matex Heating and Cooling, servicing East Central Illinois.
Subject to credit approval. Call for details.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lance, Jeremy Warner, taking your calls, taking your texts. 217-359-2255. We have a lot of texts on the Cheap Hour text line. We also have a couple of calls here on the Jupiters and the Crossing phone line. We'll get to that now. Bob is in Urbana. Let's talk Illinois hoops. How you doing, Bob?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're good, buddy.
Hey, I had a question. During the year of the Flying Illini, wasn't our tallest guy as the starter at 6'7"?
Yeah, Lowell Hamilton.
Yep. Really, really, really athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if we're designing an offense that's extremely athletic and it's going to be high motion, were the other I don't remember the rosters of all the rest of the Big Ten teams, but somehow with guys who could get off the floor quick and were active, we seem to have the advantage. So it would be great to have a big, bulky guy in there, but couldn't we use that to our advantage if we're more athletic?
All right, Bob, thanks for the call, buddy. I actually talked about this the other day as well, because even when you think of the 05 team,
yes,
Augie was, that he was your number one guy. He's the all-time leading rebounder, about 6'9". So the teams
that's fine.
That were Final Four teams, but you said it, you got to be athletic.
It's not about having Patrick Ewing down there.
Right.
Jeremiah Tillman is a highly recruited guy, even though he's not absolutely there yet.
Mm-hmm.
As a player, I mean, he's very good at the high school level, but he's not dominant yet. And I agree with Joe. I think his freshman year he's going to have struggles. I think his sophomore year he could be great.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you need a 6'11" Jeremiah Tillman there, but you do need a presence.
Right.
And Lowell Hamilton could be a presence because of his athleticism. He also was surrounded by a bunch of 6'6" athletic guys.
That is correct.
Stephen Bardo was a point guard at, 6'5", 6'6"?
Exactly.
Right?
6'6",
Nick Anderson, 6'6", 230-something pounds.
Kenny Battle played above the rim. So,
yeah, he's 6'6" and really athletic
exactly.
And played more like a 4. So, yeah, you can have that if you have all these other pieces, and you're going to give up a little bit sometimes inside. I wasn't old enough to really watch all that, but, that's a lot. You had a lot of talent there that you were able to get away with Lowell Hamilton, and you had enough athleticism everywhere where you could do that.
And the funny part is that team didn't win the Big Ten.
Right.
That's the funny part about that squad. And I'm trying to think back, Bob, when you said that. I am trying to think back to some of the teams. I think Indiana had a big guy. I think Iowa had a big. I think there were those guys. Minnesota always had those. So, but you're right. But I think everything has to work and everything has to just fall into place.
Right.
To have a team like that, and it did certainly in 89 and of course 05. And you had all Big Ten caliber guards.
You can have Brian Randall as your 4.
Sure.
And don't need a. You could have, I'm trying to think of a long, lanky guy who's not going to box people and back them out.
Right.
But you need length and athleticism to get rebounds and protect the rim. That's the most important.
Even Brian Cook wasn't your prototypical big man. He was tall, obviously, and he was tall enough, but he wasn't a guy that just dominated inside in terms of boxing people out.
You could have Mike Davis as your 5.
Sure.
Right, you could have a 6'10", 6'9" guy as your 5 in the Big Ten.
And this is what's fun about being able. Now, this isn't a painting platform that is empty, and Brad Underwood just has everything he wants to do to direct this wonderful piece of art. Unfortunately, he's going to be limited, but this is a deal where we're going to at least find out a little bit. Brad Underwood is going to have something to do with this team this year, right? And as opposed to a guy coming in with this class, and he would have been fine with this.
His fingerprints are going to be all over
That's what I mean.
this.
He's going to have to add something to this class, and we'll see what he wants to do.
I know we got Don on the line, but I want to get to this. Derek Piper just reported this. The Illini are in the mix for Pittsburgh grad transfer wing Cameron Johnson, and they will conduct an in-home visit with him on Friday. Johnson is one of the most hotly pursued players on the transfer market. He has immediate eligibility after completing his degree. He'll have 2 seasons left to play and plenty of ability. The 6'8" wing averaged 11.9 points per game as a redshirt sophomore. Shot 44% from 44.7% from the field, 41.5% from three. Also had 4.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists. Illini head coach Brad Underwood will be joined by assistants Orlando Antigua and Jamal Walker on the visit. Illinois has plenty of opportunity to sell the 3 spot with a vacancy left by graduating senior Malcolm Hill. He was visited by Arizona coach Sean Miller on Sunday, Kentucky, Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas. Others reportedly involved as well. Pittsburgh currently blocking him from transferring within the ACC.
Okay.
He'd be the perfect fit for a score. 6'8", long, can shoot, can score, would probably be your primary scorer next year, and he's a grad transfer. So he'd be eligible to play immediately, but he's also got 2 years.
Right.
And that's why so many schools like Arizona, Kentucky, Oregon, Texas, Ohio State are all interested in. But you got a chance.
Yeah.
You got a meeting.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
And it'll be interesting to see Brad Underwood and Antigua as they get out on there and try to recruit these guys. He'd be about a perfect fit, but that'll be a tough one probably to rail in. I guess the one thing Brad Underwood and these guys can do is sell playing time. and we've said that. And touches, that's
Shots.
important. But we've said that so much, the last 6 years. But you're right. There is that to be had. All right, back to the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line. It's our friend Donna. How are you, Donna?
I'm fine. I just got my new Cardinal calendar
Nice.
today that I ordered.
Why didn't you get one from us, Donna?
I didn't know you had any.
Oh. Well, next year, listen, I think you've done enough that next year you can hit up either Jeremy and I, and we will secure you one of those calendars. I mean, when you've done this much through 6 years, you deserve one.
But anyway, what is the Cardinals just not? It seemed like last night they would get hits and then they would strike out. Is it our pitching or what is it?
There's a lot. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you got that calendar. There's a lot not going right. The bullpen is one thing that I thought would be a strength, and it still can be. I mean, we're early. But so far, Brett Cecil looks horrible.
You wanted to improve your defense.
Right.
Putting Matt Adams in left field doesn't help that.
No.
Mike Matheny.
I wonder if there's a disconnect between Mo and Matheny.
Oh, it seems like it,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it really hasn't come to the surface, but I wonder because you've got the long issue.
Thing.
Yeah.
It's been weird this entire time.
Listen, Rosenthal, if you're looking for positives right now, Rosenthal looked really good last night. And they're going to try to stretch him out, I think, to a guy that can throw. I'm not saying he's Travis Miller. But I think they want
Andrew Miller.
Andrew. I just
if
throw
he's
out
Travis
names.
Miller, then probably not a good thing.
We don't want Travis Miller. We want Andrew Miller. I think they can stretch Rosie out to where he pitches 1 or 2 innings, and I think that's what Matheny wants to do. Maybe pitch the 7th and 8th or 6th and 7th inning.
Jennifer Langosh reports Matt Carpenter felt a little back tightness last night per Matheny. That coupled with his 2 for 16 history against Gio Gonzalez has him out tonight. That's why he's out.
If there's one thing about Carp, and I go back to the Jake Arrieta, it seems like when he does not hit a pitcher well, and there aren't many that he doesn't hit well, he really doesn't hit them well. So maybe Mike Matheny's looking at this saying, you know what, this probably is a good time.
We've seen this before. He's had these nagging injuries. Also, Jeremiah Tillman posted on Instagram.
No, I don't even care.
I'm truly honored and grateful for the continued support from the University of Illinois. Thank you for granting my release to reopen my recruitment.
That's very nice of you, Jeremiah Tillman.
There you go.
Let's go to Brian and Mattoon. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are great, buddy.
Good. Well, I was going to continue on the Cardinal theme. I've always been a Matheny backer.
Yep.
But I'm getting a little tired of his bullpen antics. And my thought is that he's loyal to a fault.
Yes.
Like last night, Wainwright, in my opinion, should have been taken out before the 5th inning. And he always wants them to get their win, or something like that. Whereas a Madden or a LaRussa will will pull his starter. He doesn't care who they are. And, he brings a reliever in like Cecil, who's already failed once in that Cubs series. He brings him in with runners at second and third, and he's just destined to fail, at that point with nobody out.
But the problem,
in my opinion, Matheny is loyal to a fault.
Okay, and that's fair.
That's why you brought in Cecil, though.
Right, and Brian, thanks for the call, buddy. And I feel bad I'm not going to be able to give you a rebuttal here, but in my mind, that's why you went and got Cecil, and you're paying him a lot of money for those situations, and I don't know that I would say that he's loyal to a fault to a guy like Cecil yet. Now, once we get some more games in, we'll see.
You paid him a lot of money
exactly right.
to come in for those situations and minimize the damage.
That's exactly right. So I did not have a problem with Cecil coming in. Now,
in one bad game against the Cubs, I'm not going to. That's a very small sample size against a great team.
He's been a good pitcher. He's been a really good pitcher. So
come on, Lana. Week in, Fowler stinks.
He's
Cecil
fatter than
stinks.
I thought. He's fatter than I thought. All right.
Fowler?
So, no.
Oh,
Cecil. Yeah. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm throwing out just goofy stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to panic. Let it get a little warmer. Let the Blues play out. Let's get this season over with.
Come on, everyone's panicking. Panic!
Although, I tell you what, with 2 more games against the Nationals and 3 at New York against the Yankees, you could be in quite a hole.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying a hole that you're facing the Cubs, but a wild card hole right off the bat. You could be in a deep hole.
We got a question on the Cheap Hour text line that I think is interesting.
Okay.
Because I think it can discuss kind of what we do, what I do.
Okay.
I think I know where this person I think is going.
Got it.
I answered his question on Twitter on our text message, but he hasn't answered me back with anything.
Fair enough.
But I think I know where he's going, and I'd like to discuss it.
We will do that next. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hey guys, it's Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show and the 200 Level. ESPN 93.5 has teamed up with the State Farm Center and Live Nation for Tosh Point Show. Yep, Daniel Tosh live in concert Sunday, April 16th, right here in Champaign. Listen to the Tay and J Show now through the 16th for your chance to text and win at 359-2255. That's 359-2255. It's Daniel Tosh Live. Get more info on the show at espncu.com.
Help us celebrate the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ by sharing kindness and love this holiday season. Resurrection Sunday is April 16th. Please help us support our local churches, the Time Center, Restoration Urban Ministries, Crisis Pregnancy Center, Salt and Light, and all of our local charitable organizations. Jesus stated in Matthew 9:37, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few." Help to increase the number of workers. Do something of eternal value today. This message brought to you by the Blossom Basket Florist.
Welcome back to How Well Do You Know Your Meat? Now back to the trivia. The freshest meat comes from your local grocery store. True or false?
True.
No. Contestant number 2.
It's false. The freshest meat in town comes from the U of I Meat Sales Room off of Florida Avenue in Urbana.
Yes, that's correct. You're a winner.
For the freshest cuts of meat in town, visit the U of I Meat Sales Room. Open Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 5:30 and Friday from 8 until 1. Just off Florida on South Maryland in Urbana.
It's a familiar place you know. It's a relationship to hold on to. It's a place for families, a part of growing up, and a key to staying healthy. There are warm, friendly faces, people you trust because you know you're in good hands, because you know there's complete passion, professionalism, and heart. If it's your first time or another visit, you get the care you deserve at Illini Smiles Dental Care. Dr. Shu, Dr. Fott, and Dr. Lou and their team are ready to see you now. Illini Smiles Dental Care, 303 West Springfield Avenue in Champaign. Book your visit online today at IlliniSmilesDentalCare.com. That's IlliniSmilesDentalCare.com. Illini Smiles Dental Care. We love to see you smile.
Need an oil change? See your Champaign CarX man. Right now at CarX Tire and Auto, get a full-service oil change starting at $19.99 with tire rotation and brake inspection. From oil changes to engine repair and everything in between, CarX Tire and Auto has been serving Champaign for almost 40 years with 3 convenient locations. Your Champaign CarX man has the right oil for your vehicle and at a great deal at $19.99. Stop in, call, or schedule online at CarX.com.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Field & Stream invites you to join us this Saturday, April 15th, for our biggest firearm and ammunition sale of the season. At this year's Lock and Load shooting event, you'll find savings of up to $200 on top firearm brands. Be one of the first 100 adults in line and receive a free Field & Stream mystery gift card valued from $10 to $100. Live prize drawings will take place every hour from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. See store for official rules. Start a new tradition Saturday, April 15th. Field & Stream, where traditions begin.
There's nothing better than real Texas barbecue, and no better place to get it than Hickory River Smokehouse. Every cut of beef brisket, pork shoulder, turkey breast, pork loin, and chicken are carefully selected and rubbed with its signature spice blend, infused with hickory smoke for a juicy award-winning flavor, and served up right here in Central Illinois for over 20 years. How about a taste as big as Texas for lunch, dinner, your next get-together, or to watch the big game? You're guaranteed to be the fan favorite. HickoryRiver.com or on North Cunningham in Urbana.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Join us, the Coopers, the 2017 March of Dimes Ambassador family, at the annual March for Babies on Saturday, April 29th, 2017 at 9 a.m. We will take part in the walk that helps moms have healthy pregnancies and healthy babies. They'll be the easiest steps you and your family will ever take. Join the community and start building your team today at marchforbabies.org.
Beacon Insurance and your local independent agent are committed to providing the best coverage options and the best service possible. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at beaconinsurance.com and on social media. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Beacon Insurance. It's a great way to learn more about insurance for your auto, home, life, or business. You'll stay up to date with important announcements. Plus, they'll throw in a few fun facts along the way. For beyond the expected information, follow Beacon Insurance on Facebook today.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Latte, Jeremy Warner. Your White Sox are tied at least.
James Shields having a good day.
Yeah, he is.
Knock on wood.
In the sixth inning, Sox and Cleveland all notched at one.
So we got a text, and somebody just asked Jeremy, are you an Illini fan?
That was funny the way you said that. Since you're Jeremy, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody just asked Jeremy.
Jeremy, are you an Illini fan?
Right.
And he said, I was wondering because I assumed it can be conflicting professionally to balance fandom and doing your job. At times, I could tell you still care about the success of Illinois sports. Obviously, Juan doesn't hide his Illinois fandom, so I was simply curious where you stand. I get that question a lot.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
I was definitely a fan when I was a kid. Sure. When Brian Cook, D. Brown, like that was one of the first teams I really got into. I mean, I remember Frank Williams, and I watched some of those teams a little bit. But 04-05 was the first team I really delved into.
Right.
And you can call me bandwagon, whatever.
No.
But it was one of the reasons I came to Illinois because I wanted to cover big-time sports.
Yep.
Little did I know basketball would take a downturn pretty quickly after that. But once you cover a team, you do have to become a professional.
You do.
And the more you cover a team, the more you aren't a fan.
No.
Just you're in it every day. You know these people, and you get to know these people, and maybe you can even call some of them colleagues friendly and all that, but your fandom just slips away because you don't live and die on it. You just cover it. Like, I really am a fan of the Sox and the Bulls and the Bears. I can still be professional about it on the show, but there's more fandom to that to me. When you cover a team this long and you have to put on that professional cap, you kind of distance yourself. It's just kind of a natural thing to where you're not a real fan. That doesn't mean I don't want them to succeed.
Right.
Because you know what's fun?
Covering a winning team.
Covering successful programs.
Amen.
That's a lot of fun. The fans are really happy. I was talking with Piper about this today. One of the worst things right now about this job is the interaction with fans. Not that we don't like the fans. I love them. They're the reason we got the job. We can make money doing what we're doing. It's that they're angry.
They're frustrated. They're angry.
Frustrated.
Absolutely.
And they're angry. And it kind of comes on to you, and they're angsty, and that makes you angsty.
No doubt.
That's what I don't like right now. So when you have a good team, they'll complain about certain things, like Cardinals fans, hashtag Cardinal problems, or Cubs fans, hashtag Cub problems now. But those are fun things to cover. Illinois has been very difficult in that way. But I would like to see them succeed because I know the people who are in there. I think it's fun to cover it. There's more interest in what we're talking about.
No doubt.
And I want to change the channel. It's been the same channel we've been watching and covering for 5-6 years.
There's no doubt.
So there was a fan. I'm an Illinois graduate, but it's not there anymore. I'm obviously not the fan that you and Carp are.
No, not at all. Not at all. And for me, I mean, I grew up around here, so I grew up going to games.
If I got out of the business, I'd probably become a fan again.
And I was a fan, always have been a fan of Illinois. Now, when I covered SIU, when I graduated from Southern and then worked in TV down there, it was a little hard at first because I knew the guys.
Yeah.
I knew Marcus Timmons and Paul Lusk and Chris Lowry and these guys. I knew them all. I mean, we'd go have a beer. In other words, that's how close I knew them. And then I started to develop that to say, you know what, Lon, there's a difference here. They can't be just your best friends because sometimes you have to say bad things, maybe not directly personal bad things, but bad things about a team.
You can be able to criticize.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when I covered Illinois at WAND, then I really got to see that because at Southern, you could become closer with the guys. And I was closer to their age. By the time I covered Illinois, it's not like I was an old guy. I was maybe 25, 26 years old, but I wasn't buddies with Lucas Johnson and these guys and Matt Heldman. I was closer to them in terms of their age, but I started to realize then that you've got to back off and you have to be a professional. You can't just be a fan. I also think there's differences within the media.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
TV, we're not as close to these guys, if you will, with regards to we don't have to go to every press conference. We can go to the press conference, get what we need, and take off. Whereas you guys, you need to sit down with these guys, talk to them for a longer time to get quotes, etc. Whereas I don't think TV needs to do that.
And there's only so much time.
That's correct.
There's a lot less, at least in the mainstream television or traditional television. Not as much time to get opinionated, editorialize.
There's not.
So it's just the news.
I was never asked to be editorial when I did television.
Right.
It was go out and present the facts, try to entertain, communicate with people.
That's different on ESPN and a lot of stations now.
But local guys, we're not out there to give a 1-minute editorial on what I feel like about John Gross.
Yeah, now there's difference in reporter and columnist, but that line's blurring more and more these days.
No doubt.
Because people saw the game. They want to know your analysis. They want to know your opinion. So that's happening a lot more, and you got to be more critical.
You do.
On radio, I mean, we are critical here.
Yes.
It's a big part of what we do is you guys want to hear us give our take.
That's correct.
We try not to have a lot of hot takes for the sake of having hot takes, but we try to give you our honest opinion.
And part of the reason, I have a lot of people that ask me, why don't you go to the game? Why don't you get press passes and go cover these games? I kind of like the separation that I have because I'm one of those guys that cannot be critical. I can't. Once I meet you, once I like you, like a John Gross, I never really met John Gross that much. It would be hard for me to then have bad things to say about John Gross in terms of wanting him fired if I met him. It's just my personality. I know my weakness. So I would rather be away from it to where I can just be a normal fan that maybe doesn't spend a lot of time with John Gross, whereas you're with him a lot. I mean, you're talking to him all the time. You get to know him better. So for me, that's more of a personal.
Is that hard sometimes to ask very tough questions?
Absolutely. I bet it is.
But that's the job.
That's the job.
Right? That's the job you sign up for, and you don't sign up for this job just for everyone to like you.
It's a good question. It really is.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, Jeremy still thinks Michigan State's the leader for March Madness. I said Illinois is the leader. So
I said coming into the week, they probably
like me better. Okay. That's really, it comes down to that for me. Just like me better.
All right, we got 3 minutes to give you when we come back. Cardinals, Nationals, Lance Lynn, Gio Gonzalez. Pregame starts at 5:10.
I'm going to watch tennis.
Get out of here.
It is the Tay and J Show.
It's warming up around Champaign, and that means it's time to get outside and ride in a Polaris off-road vehicle. And the best time to buy is during the Polaris Spring Sales event. You'll find great financing plus rebates up to $2,000. You'll even get a free 2-year extended warranty on any full-size Ranger or any Sportsman 450 or 570 ATV. See your Polaris dealer now. Offers valid through April and vary by model. No charge for promotional 2-year extended warranty. See dealer for details. Off-road vehicles can be hazardous to operate. Always wear a helmet and take a safety training course.
You buy Community Credit Union for campus and community.
Bring into Double Points now through the end of May with the Illini Visa Rewards Card and the U of I Community Credit Union. Double Points are waiting for you. Now through the end of May, use your Illini Visa Rewards Card on purchases for lawn and garden, sporting goods, nurseries, and home improvement stores and score double points. Plus, you can earn an extra 1,000 bonus points when you use your Illini Visa for 20 or more transactions each month. Use those points to purchase once-in-a-lifetime trips and experiences. Not a member yet? Visit IlliniCard.org today.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Fox News Radio, I'm Kathleen Maloney. The Pentagon chief says the U.S. mission in Syria has not changed even after last week's missile strike. Fox's Jared Halpern has a live report.
Defense Secretary James Mattis says the focus in Syria remains getting rid of ISIS and other terror groups, calling last week's missile strike on a Syrian airfield a response to President Assad's use of chemical weapons. The operation has been met with harsh words from Russia.
We maintain communications with the Russian military and with the diplomatic channels. It will not spiral out of control.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is in Russia for meetings with his counterpart there, Kathleen.
And Jared, the comments by Secretary of State Rex Tillerson indicate a more aggressive approach to Syrian President Assad. He has said Assad's family reign is coming to an end. The CEO of United Airlines has issued a stronger apology concerning a doctor who was dragged off a flight.
United Airlines CEO Oscar Munoz came under fire for initially praising his flight crew. Now Munoz has issued a new statement saying, quoting, "Like you, I continue to be disturbed by what happened on this flight, and I deeply apologize to the customer forcibly removed and to all the customers aboard. No one should ever be mistreated this way."
Fox's Trace Gallagher. In another twist to the story, the Kentucky doctor had reportedly been convicted of trading prescription drugs for sexual favors and of fraudulently obtaining those drugs. His medical license was taken away for a while, but he is now allowed to practice on a limited basis. Stocks turned slightly lower, the Dow dropping 7 points, S&P falling 3 points, NASDAQ down 14 points. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
In your business, you trust people who time and time again get the job done. At Indeed.com, we deliver 5 times more hires than any other job site, according to independent research. That's why over 3 million businesses use Indeed when they're hiring. Because getting the job done matters. Right now, we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Today, there are over 47 million Ford vehicles on the road, rolling on over 188 million tires. That's a lot of rubber to trust to anyone other than a hardworking specialist at Ford Service. No one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $70 rebate by mail on 4 select tires, plus another $70 rebate when you use the Ford Service credit card. Subject to credit approval, rebate by prepaid debit card. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined with Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 6/30/17.
Investigators in the German city of Dortmund think explosions that rocked a pro soccer team's bus were caused by explosive devices. They went off as the team was leaving for a match. The White House press secretary is forced to explain a comparison between Adolf Hitler and Syrian President Assad.
When asked by Fox News Radio about Syria's alleged use of chemical weapons in a bombing of their own people, White House spokesman Sean Spicer argued that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad was in some ways worse than Adolf Hitler.
Someone as despicable as Hitler, who didn't even sink to using chemical weapons.
Spicer later issued a statement clarifying his comments, saying, "In no way was I trying to lessen the horrendous nature of the Holocaust. I was trying to draw a distinction of the tactic of using airplanes to drop chemical weapons on population centers." At the White House, John Decker, Fox News.
The Attorney General wants federal prosecutors to be more aggressive with illegal immigration cases.
As he took a first-hand look at the Arizona stretch of the U.S.-Mexico border, Attorney General Sessions pushed the Trump administration's tough stance on illegal immigration. He says it includes punishment for repeated illegal entry and more power for U.S. attorneys to make charges stick.
Backlogs and catch and release policies have undermined the effectiveness of our law officers' work.
The Trump administration also wants to hire more U.S. Marshals and federal prosecutors to focus solely on illegal immigration cases. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Concerning gas prices, what goes down must come up. The Energy Information Administration says expect to pay about 20 cents more for a gallon of gas this summer, but it's still a bargain compared with prices around $5 a gallon a few years ago. The price of crude has risen 15% over the last year. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Wrapping up the Tay and J Show off a little early tonight for Cardinals Nationals. Lance Lynn against Gio Gonzalez. Pregame starts here in just about 5 minutes. We'll wrap up a couple of the stories of the day. If you're just getting in your car on your way home, Illinois officially released Jeremiah Tillman and Javon Pickett from their national letters of intent. No surprise here. If a player doesn't want to be there after a coaching change, you need to let them go. I know some people have brought up that you should hold them to that. Mississippi State even was going to hold one of its signees, but Ben Howland had been the coach when they signed, and he's still there, and even they released that player today. It's bad public relations. Doesn't look good for you, and you're kind of holding a player hostage. Just not the way to go. So Jeremiah Tillman, Javon Pickett likely heading elsewhere. We'll find out soon where. Javon Pickett today got offers from Western Kentucky and St. Louis University. The other interesting news is Kentucky took commitment from top 100 guard Jamarl Brown, I believe is his name, top 100 player, and he's a shooting guard, and they had just offered Mark Smith out of Edwardsville. So I would imagine Kentucky out of the race for Mark Smith, and that leaves Illinois and Michigan State as the big players there. Ohio State, Missouri, Butler could be in the mix as well, but it seems like it's going to be a Michigan-Illinois State battle there. Cardinals pregame coming up. Yadi Molina batting third tonight. Matt Carpenter had some back tightness last night. Also doesn't have a good history against Gio Gonzalez, and they've moved Jose Martinez to first base. He's going to be batting eighth tonight. Thanks to our guests today, Norm Sanders, Belleville News Democrat, and Joe Hendrickson, City Suburban Hoops Report. We'll talk to you on Thursday. We got off tomorrow for Cardinals against the Nationals. It's the Tay and J Show.
The ribeye has the best, the greatest steak in town.
If you're looking for Champaign-Urbana's great steak place, it's the Ribeye Restaurant. Still with their famous salad bar and their delicious seasoned fried shrimp and delicious grilled chicken entrees. The Ribeye Restaurant, 1701 South Neal Street in Champaign. For reservations, call 351-9115.
The ribeye is the best. We're the one, the great one steak place.
Tuesdays can't get any respect. Every week, it's like, I can't believe it's only Tuesday. No one ever asks, how was your Tuesday? But now there is something exciting about Tuesday. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Get an extra $10 off our lowest sale price on an AC Precision tune-up. That means you'll get a $120 tune-up for only $59 when you book online today at chiefbauer.com. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Take that, Saturday. Spring has sprung, and for 25 years, Prairie View Landscaping has been the premier locally owned and operated lawn care provider in central Illinois. Prairie View Landscaping is a full-service company, a one-stop shop for all your lawn care and outdoor needs. So email Lindy at Prairie View Landscaping today at mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Prairie View Landscaping, celebrating 25 years in business. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
It's spring clearance at Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Hoopston. This is Jen Shelby inviting you in for the best deals of the year, with up to $5,750 off Jeep Patriot or up to $4,000 off a 16 Renegade. It's time to own an iconic Jeep. Or a Ram Tough truck with up to $6,250 off. This is the time to buy. Summer vacations are just around the corner. Take up to $1,250 in savings plus 0 for $60 on the all-new Chrysler Pacifica and get the family there in style.
Hoopston Chrysler, near the corners of Route 1 and 9, or hoopstonchrysler.com.
Hey, it's Stevie J. Have the roof your home deserves. For your next roofing project, why don't you go with Roof Doctors, a locally owned and family-operated business for over 25 years. They use superior materials. They're a certified shingle contractor, so they can offer a 50-year non-prorated full system warranty, and they won't loan your work out to subcontractors. Hey, Roof Doctors has worked on my home, and the results are fantastic. But don't just take it from me. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, Roof Doctors has plenty of satisfied customers. Get a free quote at roofdoctorsco.com.
Welcome to the Ameren pregame show. Chris Raby with you from Cardinals Nation Restaurant inside Ballpark Village as we get set for Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Cardinals and the Washington Nationals. A rough opener last night for the Cardinals and their pitching staff as Adam Wainwright struggled in his second start. The bullpen let the Nationals pull away late, and 14-6 Washington win dropped the Cardinals to 2-5. Tonight, Lance Lynn on the mound for his second appearance in 2017 against Gio Gonzalez. Coming up, we will talk about Lynn and his first start after undergoing Tommy John surgery in November of 2015 and missing the entire 2016 season. We'll hear from Trevor Rosenthal following his season debut last night, which was one of the few bright spots in the Cardinals' loss. Also, Scott Miller of Bleacher Report gives us his early impressions on the 2017 season. John Rooney visits with Cardinals manager Mike Matheny, and Kyle McClellan talks pitching with us. All of that as we get ready for first pitch from D.C. at 6:05. Lance Lynn, second time around. It's our Central Bank of St. Louis replay.
And Lynn with another one for Chris Bryant. Strike 3 call, fastball outside corner, good pitch. He complains to the home plate umpire, but it was a good one.
I mean, he was moving the ball. He was aggressive and strike zone. Getting ahead in the count. It was good.
The runner goes. The pitch is swung on and missed. Lynn strikes out Schwarber on the 3-2 pitch, leaving John Jay on base. The strikeout is the second for Lynn.
I like to go deeper, obviously. Pitch count got up there a little bit. I was trying to get a little too, be a little too fine as the game went on instead of attacking like I did early on. But for the most part, I was making pitches. Everything felt good and just try to do everything I can to give the team a chance to win.
Hayward leads, checked by Lynn. Not running, and it's a swing and a miss. He struck him out. That's the 4th K for the Cardinal.
When you get a 3-0 lead in the first inning and then you end up giving away as the game goes on, they just kind of picking away as the game went on. And then Schwarber put a good swing on a pitch, and that's what they do. They're a good team. You just got to keep fighting with them, and it was a fun series.
Lance Lynn made his first start against the Cubs last week. Kind of that bizarre game in which the ball got stuck to Yadier Molina's chest protector, a walk to John Jay, and a Kyle Schwarber home run. Cubs ended up winning that game 6-4, but Lynn, 5 1/3, giving up 2 earned runs on 5 hits. Replay brought to you by Central Bank of St. Louis, your hometown bank of the St. Louis Cardinals. Follow Cardinals Baseball Live with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with Game Day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball. Let's talk a little Trevor Rosenthal when we come back, and We'll check on Memphis. A lot of offense in AAA for the Cardinals. That's next on the Ameren pregame show as we get ready for the Cardinals and the Nationals. Chris Raby from Cardinals Nation Restaurant inside Ballpark Village. Back in a moment on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
Sure, we've been called a mom and pop store. We take it as a compliment. After all, we are family owned and operated with 2 generations actively involved, and 5 of our team members have been with us for around 20 years each or longer. We run our business with old-fashioned customer service as our foundation, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Add our great selection of hand-picked mattresses, all proudly made in the USA at guaranteed lowest prices, and we're sure you won't find a better deal anywhere. Visit us and experience the Illini mattress difference today.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966, Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
There's a time for work, there's a time for play. There's a time to do things you don't do every day. There's a place to go for tools and machines and people with knowledge about these things. We've been here since 53 to meet your rental needs. When the time comes, we're the place for everything. Rental City.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Wilmer Defoe deep in the box and late on that fastball. A strikeout by Rosenthal. Good way to start. Rosie trying to make quick work of him. 0-2 pitch is a fastball right down central, and he couldn't pull the trigger. Back-to-back strikeouts for Rosenthal. Looks very good here in the 7th. The 2-2 delivery is a strike on the outside corner, and he strikes out the side. What an inning for Trevor Rosenthal.
Yeah, Trevor Rosenthal, fantastic last night as he made his 2017 debut after being activated from the disabled list. It's the Ameren pregame show. Chris Raby back with you at Cardinals Nation Restaurant inside Ballpark Village. Rosenthal striking out the side. One of the bright spots last night, Adam Wainwright wasn't mincing words after the game.
We haven't played great ball, since the first day, and it's a bad first week. We've had a bad first week, and that's really all you can say. Luckily that we got a lot more weeks coming up that we're planning to play a lot of really good baseball. So it's unfortunate. We hate starting off a season like this. Our fans want to see better out of us, I'm sure, and we expect better out of ourselves too. We'll be better.
We're going to talk a little more about the bullpen as we go on tonight. Mike Matheny saying after the game last night, we've got to get it fixed. We're going to get it fixed. Mike Claiborne will visit with Trevor Rosenthal coming up a little bit later. Weekends Only's mission is to save you money. Come in this weekend for the biggest selection at the best prices on furniture and mattresses. Open Friday through Sunday and online at weekendsonly.com. Weekends Only is a proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals. A bit of a bright spot in our check on the Monsanto Farm Report. Memphis putting up more offense in another win.
0-1. Swinging a liner that's fair inside third base into the corner. How many will this score? In is Rosario. In is Zide. Waved around third baiter. There's no throw. It's a 3-run double. Tommy Pham again, ladies and gentlemen, and a 4-0 Memphis lead. It's the 1-2 here. Swing, and that's a long one to left. Forget about that one. Another long one for the Redbirds. And Stubby Klatt knew something was going on when he put Garcia in the cleanup role tonight. And the Birds get a run back, leading it by a score of 5-2. Target in, 1-0 delivery. Driven high and deep to center. Dendecker turns, looks right, looks left. He's at the wall. It's gone, and the Redbirds get the 2-run homer. Fist pumping that right hand as Voigt headed for second base, and the Redbirds lead it 7-6.
Luke Voigt from Wildwood and Missouri State with his second home run last night. Tommy Pham, a 2-for-5 night with a double. He's hitting .400. And the Redbirds, a 7-6 win over New Orleans. Also going to keep our eye on Springfield tonight as Jack Flaherty makes his second start for the Springfield Cardinals. Farm Report brought to you by Monsanto, proud supporter of America's farmers. When we come back, Scott Miller from Bleacher Report gives us his perspective on the early season so far for the Cardinals in our Reporter's Notebook. That's next after this break. Chris Raby with you on the Ameren pregame show. Back in a moment on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
Ballpark Village is the proud host of the official away game watch parties for the St. Louis Cardinals. That means even when the team is away, fans can join a sea of red. Each away game watch party features 500 premium giveaway items and an unparalleled experience with world-class audio-video presentation. On select dates, fans can even watch with Fredbird, the Busch Stadium organist, and more. It's officially the best watch party in St. Louis. For details or a list of away watch party dates, visit stlballparkvillage.com/entertainment.
You're at the ballpark every day, crouching down, catching heat, all but invisible. Your job lacks fame and glory, but offers plenty of distracting aches and pains. That's the life of a bullpen catcher. You can't afford to lose focus. Neither can your team. So be prepared with ACE braces, supports, and elastic bandages. And don't be distracted by pain. ACE brand products available at Walmart.
When your computer's not working, you're not working. Hi, this is Dan from Simplified Computers. Whether your computer is running slow, you have a virus, or it's just time for an upgrade, Simplified Computers is here to help with personal service you won't find at the big box stores. We can set up your wireless network, build, install, and maintain your business's server, or replace your hard drive. For over 18 years, we have served the Champaign-Urbana community with integrity and quality customer service. Call us at 352-5000. Simplified Computers, simply the best.
When your car breaks down, you realize just how much you need it. And when it breaks down, Beaumont Alignment Plus steps up. For routine maintenance like brakes, oil changes, tune-ups, batteries, and tires, you can count on Beaumont Alignment Plus. Bigger issues including alignment, suspension work, starters, alternators, transmission requires specialists. So get to know Beaumont Alignment Plus for your vehicle repairs. With locations on Bloomington Road and Dennison Drive in Champaign, you're never far from the help you need. It's good to know the quality service is still affordable at Beaumont Alignment Plus.
At Body and Soul, they take pride in giving you the perfect fit for your athletic shoes. Their team of experts will help you in selecting the style that fits your purpose and your feet. Body and Soul has offered the best prices and best quality for more than 30 years. And they aren't just shoes. Whether it's walking, running, swimming, or biking, or whether it's for you or the whole team, visit Mike or Jed and their experienced staff at Body and Soul, Route 45 Savoy. Call 356-8926 or visit soulsports.com.
Rosati's Pizza is serving up a special just for Lent. Fish. Yes, a pizza place serving fish. What a novel concept. Stop by Rosati's during Lent for a fish sandwich, fries, and a drink for just $8.49. Every Friday through Good Friday at Rosati's Pizza. Oh, you can still get your favorite pizza, but for Lent, it's all about fish. Every Friday, get a fish sandwich, fries, and a drink for just $8.49. Rosati's Pizza. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. 701 South Gregory in Urbana. 328-2334 and online at myrosatis.com/Urbana.
Welcome back to the Ameren pregame show from Cardinals Nation Restaurant inside Ballpark Village. We open up the Reporter's Notebook and say hello to Scott Miller, national baseball columnist for Bleacher Report. Also, you can catch him on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio. Follow Scott on Twitter at Scott Miller BBL. Scott, how are you, my friend?
Real good. Nice to be with you. Happy to have baseball back, and
early in the season, we've got a bunch of day games, night games. It's nice to have baseball going around the clock as well.
Yeah, it is. The last time we saw you was down in Jupiter, Florida. As you said, baseball going now just over a week into the regular season. Cardinals fans haven't had a whole lot to be excited about. Just 2-5 are the Redbirds to this point. How do you evaluate teams this early in the season? We always hear players and managers, when things don't go well, say, well, it's early. What's your process and evaluation process like when we've only got about a week or so of games to go off?
Yeah, definitely early. We're not even to the point of the season where you can quote Yogi Berra and say it's getting early late or it's getting late early or whatever. It's still really early. And, you look for trends. You look around the league and the Giants have been having bullpen issues. I think maybe the one thing you look at is are there any trends that are, as I say, it's a little early to peg trends definitively, but for me, I kind of look at, last year compared to this year, and the Giants, I mentioned them in their bullpen issues only because they led the majors in blown saves last year, and then they signed Mark Melancon to close, and then, doggone, he blew the saving opportunity in Arizona on opening day, and then they've had some bullpen issues since, and you wonder, okay, did they fix their issue from last year or not? Those are kind of the things I look for early in the year. But, yeah, it's a little early to definitively look and say, oh, geez, the Cardinals are 2-5, and is it time to ring the alarm bells? Or Arizona starts 5-1, really good start, but a little early to peg them as division favorites.
Yeah, I think it's hard, too, to evaluate. For instance, one of the things we talked about in spring was the Cardinals cleaning things up defensively. They obviously has made some miscues, but the Cubs watching the last couple of nights, whether it's Addison Russell last night, Javi Baez with some couple of uncharacteristically sloppy plays. I guess, again, at this point of the year, you kind of realize it's early, it's cold, things don't go right, you're moving guys in and out of the lineup, and again, we only really have a 7-game sample size so far.
Well, yeah, and a couple other things on this subject, as you just mentioned. The weather always plays a role at this time of year, and it is cold in certain parts of the country, and, how much does that affect things? The other thing is, take the Boston Red Sox, for example. They're 3-3. Baltimore off to a really good start at 4-1, but the Red Sox are 3-3, but the story within the story there is that's not just an average humdrum start. The Red Sox have been killed by the flu bug. Mookie Betts missed almost a week. Hanley Ramirez has only played 2 games so far this year. The Red Sox flu epidemic is such that they have already had their home clubhouse in Fenway Park fumigated a couple of times, according to general manager Dave Dombrowski. And the Red Sox flu situation is so bad, they just left Detroit after yesterday's game, a 4-game series. Well, Minnesota comes in today. Minnesota follows the Red Sox into Detroit. The Twins phoned ahead, and they asked the Tigers to fumigate the visitors' clubhouse in Comerica Park because they wanted to make sure that whatever it is the Red Sox or whatever bugs they've got, they didn't want to accidentally pick up anything as they followed them into Detroit.
Scott, last thing for you. Cardinals have dealt with some bullpen issues. Same thing as you try to evaluate a bullpen, and I think some new pieces that the club was excited about, especially Brett Cecil. It's been just a rough go early. And again, you've played the Cubs, you've played the Nationals, so tough teams. But Mike Matheny said we've got to get this fixed. Time to start to worry about the bullpen, or time to, again, let those guys just try to settle into their roles and see what happens?
Well, again, I mean, certainly, as you mentioned, Brett Cecil, that was a train wreck the other day, and Mike Matheny saying we've got to get this fixed. That's the fine line you walk where, yes, it's early, yes, it's only 7 games, but at the same time, if something goes really wrong, the next thing you look for is to make sure that a team nips it in the bud and it doesn't become one of those issues that popped up in the first week of the season, and 3 weeks later you're still talking about it. And Yeah, the Cardinals bullpen, you're right, tough competition. But that said, since when in recent years have the Cardinals, been buffaloed by tough competition? I mean, the Cardinals are right up there with just about anybody else. So if they're going to get to where they hope to get to this year, Mike Matheny's right. They need to get it fixed. And while it's not necessarily panic time, you look at the next stretch of 7 to 10 games and figure, okay, hopefully things get turned around, or if it doesn't in the next 7 to 10 games, well, then maybe you start to look at roster moves.
Reed Scott Miller at Bleacher Report. Also hear him on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio. Scott, appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
You got it. My pleasure. Thank you.
Mike Matheny next on the Amarin pregame show on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
This is Adam Wainwright.
And I'm Trevor Rosenthal.
Thanks to thousands of fans across Cardinal Nation who pledged to Homers for Health and K's for Kids. We've raised $3.7 million for Cardinal Glennon kids in just 5 years.
Helping to provide world-class medical care and create child-friendly spaces at the hospital.
That's why every pledge, no matter how big or small, adds up to make a difference in the lives of sick and injured children.
Join us again this year by making a pledge today at glennon.org. Together, we'll strike them out for the kids.
In 3 days,
you're going to close your eyes on World War III, or you're going to saddle up and save the entire damn world.
Let's go, baby.
Come and get 'em.
Get ready for what's being called the biggest, boldest Fast and Furious movie yet.
Oh, baby.
You get style points for that one.
Woo!
The Fate of the Furious.
Let me get my selfie levels up. You realize this is classified, right? Not today.
Rated PG-13. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters and IMAX Friday.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Miss Johnson, what's this you got cooking here on the stove?
Now, Billy, I told you to stay out of that until supper time, you hear me?
But, Miss Johnson, it smells so good, and it's so cold out.
I know it smells good, Billy. It's because it's my famous stew with a great cut of meat from the U of I Meat Sales Room.
If you're looking for the best cuts of meat for stew, soups, or any dish that will keep you warm this winter, head to the U of I Meat Sales Room. The U of I Meat Sales Room on the corner of Maryland and Florida in Urbana.
Vapors e-cigs thinks it's time for you to take a permanent vacation from smoking. Take a permanent vacation away from cigarettes today. You'll smell better, you'll breathe better, and you'll feel better. Plus, you'll have more money than ever when you choose Vapors e-cigs. Come in today and taste the difference with a premium electronic vape. You can get started for less than a carton of cigarettes. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Vapors e-cigs today. Find them at Champaign across the street from Marketplace Mall at 2 West Main Street in Danville. And follow them on Facebook for great deal offers and giveaways.
Rosani's Pizza is serving up a special just for Lent. Fish. Yes, a pizza place serving fish. What a novel concept. Stop by Rosani's during Lent for a fish sandwich, fries, and a drink for just $8.49. Every Friday through Good Friday at Rosani's Pizza. Oh, you can still get your favorite pizza, but for Lent, it's all about fish. Every Friday, get a fish sandwich, fries, and a drink for just $8.49. Rosani's Pizza. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. 701 South Gregory in Urbana. 328-2334 and online at myrosanis.com/Urbana.
Let's head back to D.C. on the Amarin pregame show now. John Rudy with Cardinals manager Mike Matheny. It's brought to you by Webster University.
Mike, the Cardinals and the Nationals game 2 of the 3-game series, and you have to have a short memory in this game, don't you?
Yeah, those are 2 games in a row, which you don't see us do very often. It just didn't look right. And, we had a lot of things go pretty well. I mean, Adam pitched out of trouble. He kept us in the game. We get to the 5th inning with a 2-run lead, and thinking that's an opportunity for us to expand that lead with a shutdown, and we just couldn't get through that 5th without getting hurt. And then, unfortunately, after that, it just went sour. But, saw some good at-bats. Talk about Colton in the first with a big 2 RBI double, and then guys kind of fighting their way through some situational hitting.
But it's unfortunate that the result turned out the way it did with giving up as many runs as we did.
Long and Piscotty had 2 out RBIs. Those can do a lot to lift a ball club, can't they?
Yeah, no question. And those guys in those big situations, and it's nice to have Steven back with us. And we talk about how important it's going to be for somebody to be in the middle of the lineup that's driving in runs. If you're getting Fowler and Carpenter and Diaz on base, somebody's going to have to come through with those big hits, and it was nice to see Steven get a couple opportunities. Yeah, Yachty's still swinging the bat extremely well, and we scored some runs. And usually you give this team 6 runs, and it's going to be enough to win a game. But we gave up double digits, and that's never a good thing.
A team can really flow when its bullpen lines up, Mike, and that's something they're fighting through right now. How do you go about that? What's the best way to fight through that and try to get it lined up?
Well, John, we're going to have to keep throwing guys out there. I mean, Brett Cecil is going to be a big part of this bullpen. He's going to have to get some of these big bats out. You look at this lineup. This lines up really perfect for him to come in and have lefty after lefty. And I think he's just at that spot. Over on a new team, he's not feeling real sharp with his secondary pitches. And those secondary pitches are really what makes a lefty effective against a lefty. Kevin Segrist, too. Need to get him feeling good about himself. It was a great shot in the arm yesterday to watch Trevor, and we're going to be able to implement him in different ways however we need to. But Matt Bowman had a strong outing, a couple good and then a couple not so good, and just trying to find what is that role, what is that recipe to take a lead late in the game. How are the guys going to hand the ball off to each other in a way that everybody feels good about? And right now we haven't quite found that yet.
One of the best moments of your time as a manager came against Gio Gonzalez and the Washington Nationals in the postseason when you were down 6-0 and, as Chris Carpenter put it, had an epic comeback.
Just watching as a fan the previous year, being involved in the organization in the 2011 Game 6 was really special. But then to come here the following year and be down 6-0 in an elimination game and to watch our guys do what they did, John, I'm sure you have some fond memories as well. But I get goosebumps thinking about it for a lot of reasons. Just to see the fight and the tenacity of our club. Man, you're pretty much almost numerically out of that game in that situation with such a good team, and our guys just kind of kept coming back and fighting and playing the game the right way. And I remember flying out to San Francisco afterwards saying, I just can't believe what we just saw. I can't believe that happened. And just an honor to be a part of it and to watch our guys, so many different people joining in and doing a part of that. It's a game that I'll never forget.
Lance Lynn goes tonight. How does your bullpen line up behind Lance, who is making his second start coming back from the elbow?
Well, hopefully we let Lance go deep. That's kind of what happens. I think they're doing the exact same thing on the opposite side over there. They've had some issues with their bullpen, and so you do have to try and rest on your starters going a little as far as you can and realize that you don't have as much coverage. Yesterday we get into the 5th inning with Wainwright. His pitch count's elevated, but we have to have enough pitchers that can finish the game and have some backup in case something doesn't go quite right. So I know that's going to be our first philosophy is let's get Lance as far as we can take him, and after that we're going to have guys just jump into different spots. Matt Bowman's pitching himself, I believe, into some more significant innings, but we're still going to need Cecil Segrist. We're going to need Jonathan Broxton come with some big outs, and Miguel Sokolovic has the potential to pitch some big innings for us as well. But we've got to go see how the guys feel today. But I know whenever you have games like we've had here recently, they just want the ball and try and fix it.
All the best, Mike.
Thanks, John.
Mike Matheny, brought to you by Webster University. Kyle McClellan with us next on the Ameren Pregame Show. Chris Raby with you on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
Hi fans, Matt Carpenter here. And on Saturday, April 29th, we face the Reds. That day, 30,000 fans ages 16 and older take home a one-of-a-kind double bobblehead featuring Carlos Martinez and yours truly. I hit the home runs, Carlos throws the water in my face. Now that's a unique bobblehead. April 29th, take away this home run celebration bobblehead courtesy of SSM Health, Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. Tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotion. There's only one Cardinals baseball.
This is Rick Horton. No matter what life throws at you, you need options. After all, a good pitcher doesn't just throw fastballs. For 25 years, Vitae Foundation has effectively used media and research-based messaging to help women find options when faced with an unexpected pregnancy. Healthy options and caring support. What women deserve when life throws them a curveball. Vitae Foundation, a real game changer. Learn more at adsforlife.org.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Welcome back to How Well Do You Know Your Meat? Now back to the trivia. The freshest meat comes from your local grocery store. True or false?
True.
No. Contestant number 2.
It's false. The freshest meat in town comes from the U of I meat sales room off of Florida Avenue in Urbana.
Yes, that's correct. You're a winner.
For the freshest cuts of meat in town, visit the U of I Meat Sales Room. Open Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 5:30 and Friday from 8 until 1. Just off Florida on South Maryland in Urbana.
Join the U of I Community Credit Union for the grand finale of Money Smart Week. It's Shred-a-Palooza, a free event with shred trucks, food, and fun. Shred sensitive papers and documents, then enjoy music, local food trucks, and free inflatables. Complete family fun with a purpose. Join us Saturday, April 29th from 10 to 2. Get more details at uoficreditunion.org.
U of I Community Credit Union for campus and community.
Thinking about becoming a homeowner this spring or summer? Buying a new home? Or upgrading because of your growing family? Save at your community credit union, the U of I Community Credit Union. Right now, open a mortgage with us and you'll receive a $250 closing credit with competitive rates, a quick and easy approval process, and fixed term options over 10 to 30 years. Trust the U of I Community Credit Union.
Closing cost credit offer applies towards approved and funded first mortgage loans only. Some exclusions and restrictions apply.
Kyle McClellan joins us on the Amarin pregame show, getting ready for the Cardinals and Nationals tonight. Lance Lynn's second time on the mound. Kyle, what did you see from Lance in his debut against the Cubs, and what do you expect tonight?
Well, he mixed it up a lot. He threw a lot of changeups, a lot of breaking balls, more than what we're used to seeing out of him, where he just comes after you with a fastball. So a great job of mixing it up. You know, he worked on that during the Tommy John rehab that he had, and I expect to see more of the same. I expect him really to try to get in deep into the game and really help his bullpen. If he can go, 6-7 innings, it would be a big help.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Trevor Rosenthal tonight, but what a start to the season he had last night after being activated from the DL.
He was outstanding. I mean, throwing 99, 100 miles an hour with an 84-mile-an-hour sharp breaking ball. He's healthy. The ball's exploding out of his hand, and he's going to be a big boost to that bullpen. It's going to push those other guys. When you have guys competing like that, other guys are going to step up their level as well.
Cal, appreciate the time, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
Trevor Rosenthal with Mike Claiborne next on the Amarin pregame show on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
For over a century, Mastercraft Tires have helped drivers in search of great tires at affordable prices to tackle their daily commute or weekend adventures. Now there's a new reason to choose Mastercraft, because for a limited time you'll receive a Mastercraft Visa prepaid card worth up to $60 with the purchase of a new set of 4 Corsair MXT, Corsair HXT, or other qualifying Mastercraft tires. Visit your local Mastercraft tire dealer to learn more today. Visit Tire Monkey today.
Hey Cardinal fans, Ozzie Smith here for Amarin, Illinois. Superstitious players avoid stepping on the foul line, but stepping on a down power line, that's truly dangerous. When storms hit, down lines can become hidden in trees and debris. Amarin, Illinois urges everyone to be safe when cleaning up after a storm. Stay clear of down or sagging lines and call Amarin, Illinois to report them. A safety reminder from your friends at Amarin, Illinois. Energy at work.
Meetings large or small, the Hawthorne Suites by Wyndham in Champaign can accommodate them all. The newly renovated 9,000 square foot banquet space can accommodate all your events. Let the Hawthorne Suites by Wyndham be the location of your next wedding, conference, workshop, or anything in between. The dedicated staff take care of every detail of your event to make it memorable and hassle-free for you. For special offers on weddings, rehearsal dinners, and showers, call a representative now at Hawthorne Suites by Wyndham, 398-3400. Leave the planning and execution of your special event to the team at Hawthorne Suites by Wyndham.
Vapors e-cigs thinks it's time for you to take a permanent vacation from smoking. Take a permanent vacation away from cigarettes today. You'll smell better, you'll breathe better, and you'll feel better. Plus, you'll have more money than ever when you choose Vapors e-cigs. Come in today and taste the difference with a premium electronic vape. You can get started for less than a carton of cigarettes. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Vapors e-cigs today. Find them at Champaign across the street from Marketplace Mall at 2 West Main Street in Danville. And follow them on Facebook for great deal offers and giveaways.
You can fly Champaign. You can fly Willard Airport. You can fly Champaign. You can fly. Our airport is your doorway to the sky. So pack your things, spread your wings. You've got business to do. People who expect you. You can fly Champaign. You can fly Willard Airport.
It's all about the best beef, the best pork, and of course,
the sausages.
At the U of I Meat Sales Room. If Coach Ditka lived in CU, I'm sure he'd buy his meat from the U of I Meat Sales Room. The beef is great, the pork is great, but
the sausages
are delicious. Smoked sausage, Italian sausage, Polish sausage, and even brats. It's all fresh, locally produced, and locally grown. Visit the U of I Meat Sales Room near the corner of Lincoln and Florida in Urbana.
The sausages.
Well, Trevor Rosenthal is fresh off the disabled list, and you had a pretty good outing last night. How do you feel today?
Feeling good, and it was definitely exciting to be back out there after having to watch the first week of games and watch everybody else have fun. I was happy to be a part of it, and I felt like it was a good first step to, last night, and just hopefully continue to build on that.
The one thing I noticed, certainly the velocity was there, but it looked like you were really spotting your fastball where you wanted it to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was trying to be aggressive, and definitely some fine tuning that I still want to do, and just keep getting out there and keep, like I said, just keep building on the rhythm and just getting in a rhythm, getting out there, getting comfortable, and being able to repeat. But I was happy, obviously, with the results and to be back a part of the team.
It had to be a little bit of a frustrating spring for you, where you didn't really have a chance to get out and go as long as you'd like to. What did you learn in that process?
It was not ideal. Just struggling with some physical issues. But I think I did enjoy the innings that I was able to get stretched out, and I really enjoyed pitching those innings. And I feel like in those types of scenarios is when a pitcher you can evolve the most, especially for me, just getting out there, being able to see multiple hitters, see multiple innings, and go through the lineup maybe 2 times. I really enjoyed that, and I really appreciated that opportunity.
And you take a different approach when you maybe go through the lineup twice, whereas you can use other pitches other than the heater because they're going to be looking for that.
Definitely, yeah. Just mixing up speeds, using different pitches, being able to focus on pitchability, trying to really focus on controlling the counts. And I think pitching one inning, you can kind of forget how important those things are. And being in a situation where you have to be efficient really puts that pressure and helps you to realize how important it is controlling counts and being effective and getting quick outs. And so I really try to take that away from it, and I think it'll be something for me to remember throughout this season.
You came away, as you mentioned last night, feeling good about the outing. What's next for you now? Would you like to try and stretch it out a little bit more?
I think our plan is just to kind of take baby steps right now, and with all the physical issues that have been going on, I think some of that could have attributed to the workload and ramping things up maybe too quick. So being conscious of that and just trying not to do too much too quick, and knowing it's still early. But over the next couple of weeks, as I get more acclimated with the big league games, hopefully can evolve into a more defined role.
You've been in the game long enough now where pace is important, and breathing and making sure that you do the right things on the mound and let the game come to you. Is that something you have to reset from time to time when you're out there, especially like last night, first time this season on the mound?
definitely. It's finding that right balance of, being aggressive and being locked in and being prepared for the situation, but not trying too hard. So it's just a fine balance and trying to, like I said, it's just really a rhythm, and finding that rhythm is important, especially for our bullpen. I think we've seen over this early week, it's been tough for us to get into a good rhythm as a bullpen, and not knowing necessarily when we're going to pitch, or just the inconsistent work. And I think that's something that, as we look over the next few weeks and things kind of even out and guys get more comfortable, we're going to see a big change with how these guys are pitching out there.
That first month of the season, maybe the first couple of weeks, is really trying for a bullpen because, A, you don't know when you're going to pitch. B, the off days and everything else, you're really not in a consistent groove. And, when you have one guy that kind of goes south, good pitching in the bullpen is contagious, and so is bad pitching.
Yeah, and that's something we're aware of, and I think it's very important as a group. If guys are struggling, we gotta just really remember to pick each other up, and we are a unit out there, and so that's where I'm at right now, just trying to bring some positive energy and hopefully get things turned in the other direction here quickly. And it is tough. It's a long spring training, and spring training is not easy, and come off that, jump right into a season where we have an inconsistent schedule and inconsistent workloads. It's a tough, but it's something that we can't lose focus, and we got to continue to work through.
Thank you for your time, and let's have another outing like we had last night from you.
Yeah, thank you.
With unlimited data from AT&T, you can stream your favorite content almost anywhere. Side effects may include, but are not limited to, compulsion to answer entertainment-related questions.
Actually, the whole thing was a dream.
Increased desire to share spoilers.
He marries Carol.
Sports-induced public celebration.
Yes!
Mastery of entertainment-themed trivia.
What are teen sci-fi dramedies?
And repeated late-night use of the phrase.
Just one more episode.
The unlimited effect. Ask your local AT&T retailer why unlimited data is right for you. Then get unlimited data from AT&T.
Introducing AT&T's best unlimited deal ever. Unlimited data, less than $40 per month per line with 4 lines. And never pay overages, ever.
Price for AT&T Unlimited Choice Plan after auto pay and paperless bill discount. Discount starts within 2 bills. Data speeds limited to max of 3 Mbps. Video streaming limited to standard definition quality. After 22 gigabytes of data usage, AT&T may slow speeds. Other charges and restrictions apply. See AT&T.com/unlimited for details.
At Body and Soul, they take pride in giving you the perfect fit for your athletic shoes. Their team of experts will help you in selecting the style that fits your purpose and your feet. Body and Soul has offered the best prices and best quality for more than 30 years. And they aren't just shoes. Whether it's walking, running, swimming, or biking, or whether it's for you or the whole team, visit Mike or Jed and their experienced staff at Body and Soul, Route 45 Savoy. Call 356-8926 or visit soulsports.com.
Rosati's Pizza is serving up a special just for Lent. Fish. Yes, a pizza place serving fish. What a novel concept. Stop by Rosati's during Lent for a fish sandwich, fries, and a drink for just $8.49. Every Friday through Good Friday at Rosati's Pizza. Oh, you can still get your favorite pizza, but for Lent, it's all about fish. Every Friday, get a fish sandwich, fries, and a drink for just $8.49. Rosati's Pizza. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. 701 South Gregory in Urbana. 328-2334 and online at myrosatis.com/Urbana.
Got a question? Talk to our experts now at StevieJay.com. Experts are there, ready to answer your questions for free. Home improvement question. Our experts from Land, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing can help. Need help with home remodeling? Talk to our service experts from Flooring Services, where the world is at your feet. Need to pay for those home improvements? Talk to our financial experts from the U of I Community Credit Union. They are the Stevie J Broadcasting experts. Ask an expert today at StevieJay.com. That's StevieJay.com.
Hey guys, it's Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show and the 200 Level. ESPN 93.5 has teamed up with the State Farm Center and Live Nation for Tosh Point Show. Yep, Daniel Tosh live in concert Sunday, April 16th, right here in Champaign. Listen to the Tay and J Show now through the 16th for your chance to text and win at 359-2255. That's 359-2255. It's Daniel Tosh live. Get more info on the show at espncu.com.
Lance Lynn going to be our UMB player to bank on tonight. He makes his second start after a pretty good first outing last week against the Cubs. Chris Raby back with you for a moment as we get ready for baseball. Cardinals trying to win their third game of the year and even this series up at one game apiece in D.C. against the Nationals. Sean Rooney and Rick Horton have all the baseball action for you next. This has been the Ameren pregame show along with Mike Anderson back at our Cardinals Network studios. Chris Raby saying, enjoy the game. We'll talk to you afterwards. We have been live at Cardinals Nation Restaurant inside Ballpark Village. Baseball is next on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
Hello, this is Shane Colt from Country Arbors Nursery. Spring is finally here and Country Arbors is open and ready to supply you with all your home and garden needs. We grow hundreds of thousands of annuals and 600 varieties of perennials right here in Urbana. If you're looking for a large shade tree, then you'll want to come out and see our thousands of trees dug and ready to be planted. Country Arbors offers a planting service on all our trees. Buy 3 or more trees and we'll give you 20% discount on the tree and the planting. We guarantee all of our larger trees that we plant for 5 years. And don't forget, we deliver dozens of different mulches and stone. You can find out more information and directions at countryarbors.com.
Spring has sprung, and for 25 years, Prairie View Landscaping has been the premier locally owned and operated lawn care provider in central Illinois. Prairie View Landscaping is a full-service company, a one-stop shop for all your lawn care and outdoor needs. So email Lindy at Prairie View Landscaping today at mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Prairie View Landscaping, celebrating 25 years in business. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 24 hours every day. Tapman's Towing. 328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 24 hours every day. Tapman's Towing. We have pull and we're hooked on you. Tapman's Towing.
Meetings large or small, the Hawthorne Suites by Wyndham in Champaign can accommodate them all. The newly renovated 9,000 square foot banquet space can accommodate all your events. Let the Hawthorne Suites by Wyndham be the location of your next wedding, conference, workshop, or anything in between. The dedicated staff take care of every detail of your event to make it memorable and hassle-free for you. For special offers on weddings, rehearsal dinners, and showers, call a representative now at Hawthorne Suites by Wyndham, 398-3400. Leave the planning and execution of your special event to the team at Hawthorne Suites by Wyndham.
A swing, and there's a high fly ball. It's a gunner!
St. Louis Cardinal Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By your quality Ford dealers, the official vehicles of the St. Louis Cardinal. By Snooks Delivered. Order groceries online with snooksdelivers.com. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. By Shelter Insurance. Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. For your auto, home, life, and renter's insurance needs, we're your shield, we're your shelter. By Explore St. Louis. Learn more about all the great things to do in St. Louis by visiting explorestlouis.com. By Central Bank, the hometown bank of the St. Louis Cardinal. By Central Missouri's beautiful Lake of the Ozarks. Voted the best recreational lake in the nation. Plan your vacation at funlake.com. By Weekends Only Furniture and Mattress, a proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinal. And by Chick-fil-A. Visit them today at any one of their 13 St. Louis area locations. Now, St. Louis Cardinals baseball.
Welcome to St. Louis Cardinals baseball from Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Cardinals are hoping to turn things around after a tough loss 14-6 in Game 1 here last night. Cardinals have just begun a 6-game, 2-city road trip. This is Ricky Horton. I'll be alongside John Rooney. Cardinals hoping to even the series here tonight behind Lance Lynn. Nothing went particularly well here last night for the Cardinals. The pitchers allowed 14 runs on 19 hits. Adam Wainwright dropped to 0-2, and the bullpen got plenty of work as well. They will be thin here for Game 2. Trevor Rosenthal was a bright spot for the Cardinals. He struck out the side in his only inning of work after coming off the disabled list. It's another very pleasant evening in D.C. The temperature again in the high 70s with just a slight breeze blowing from right to left. Dusty Baker and his Nationals have high hopes for 2017. They are the defending champions in the National League East, and their lineup is stacked again this year. Mike Matheny's Cardinals lost out by just one game on going to the playoffs a season ago, and they had a terrific spring, but they have been very, very slow out of the gate, and we'll see if they can turn that around here tonight. Let's take a look at our pitching matchup brought to you by Missouri Farmers Care. Join the conversation on how today's food is grown and raised at Missouri Farmers Care The Cardinals go with Lance Lynn. It's his second start of the season. He had a no decision at home against the Cubs. Pitched very well, went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs, and had 4 strikeouts. And he's 3-1 lifetime against the Nationals. Gio Gonzalez is a left-hander. He's also making his second start of the season. He also had a no decision. That came against the Marlins, where he went 6 innings and did not give up a run. He is 2-2 lifetime against St. Louis with a very good ERA of under 3 in 6 starts. So Lynn and Gonzalez are your starters. I'll have the lineups for you next.
Awesome Machines Sales and Rentals wants you to take charge of your yard with Toro. Come in now through May 31st and save $100 on Toro Time Cutter zero-turn mowers. Save $300 on Toro Titan HD mowers and save $500 on Toro Z-Master commercial mowers. Awesome Machines has Toro certified parts in stock and they service what they sell. With certified service technicians and trained parts and sales personnel, Awesome Machines is the best choice for your lawn equipment needs. Awesome Machines Sales and Rental, Route 45 in Savoy, Route 36 in Tuscola, and online at awesomemachines.net.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
You can fly Champagne. You can fly Willard Airport. You can fly Champagne. You can fly. Our airport is your doorway to the sky. So pack your things, spread your wings. You've got business to do. People who expect you. You can fly Champagne. You can fly Willard Airport.
Brian Finch from the Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum. Have you ever wanted to try and broadcast the club's greatest moments, put on a World Series ring, or hold an authentic game-used bat by Lou Brock or Stan Musial? You can at the Cardinals Museum. Our museum also boasts one of the largest team-specific collections of artifacts and memorabilia in the world. If you love the Cardinals and our rich history, a stop by the Cardinals Museum is a must. The museum is open daily and is located in Cardinals Nation in Ballpark Village. For info and tickets, visit cardinalsnation.com.
Welcome back to Nationals Park. The fans are still filing in here. We expect another nice crowd here. We had a good crowd here last night. They're coming